to say if bitches didn't do it.
The sun begins to shine. Winter fruits and summer wine, sweet perfume and columbine. If I thought you'd ever change your mind,
Wouldn't have a thing to say if bitches didn't do it. And do it. And do it. And do it.
What's up, everybody? What's up? 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 Oh, let me turn this. Let me see. This all the way down right here for a second. I hope you guys can hear me. Hold on a second. If you can hear me in the chat, press 1. Please. I think you guys can hear me. Okay, yeah, there you go. You like that song, Mark? Yeah, I love it. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate that. I almost overslept with my nap. Ooh, I almost overslept, dude. I was like, you know how you're really good at some nice sleep? Then all of a sudden something say, hey, you need to be doing something right now. And you like, what time is it? And it was 8:15. And y'all know how it is. Y'all know how it is with the whole entire YouTube new sign-in situation. Plus, we know that I've been having problems with my internet. That they've been like, I don't know. I can't even tell you what they've been doing with me lately. They've been mistreating me. I'm like, I'm not gonna stand for this much longer. I refuse. Anywho, boy, we got some good news that came out today, boy. I can't wait for the Treehouse News tomorrow. Just like I knew Chauvin got that third degree murder charge dropped. I knew it. I was like, I said, I didn't think they was gonna drop the charges. I thought he was just gonna be found innocent of it, and they end up dropping it. I was like, whoa. So I was right, but then I was not right. So did a squirrel damage the internet somehow? Nah, because the internet is buried underground. The cable is buried underground. So they don't even have access to it. Everything that the squirrels was doing is in the attic. So they don't have any connection to it. Hey everybody, welcome to coming. Thank you so much for coming. We are here for the Trump versus Biden debate. Get ready for some shenanigans, okay? But it's 1 or 2 still, but 1 and 2. What? I don't know what you're saying. They're muting Trump's mic in the opening arguments. And you know they have a black woman. And when you have a black woman, that means you can't judge it, because then you're racist. You're racist. This is a liberal, and it's just a hot mess, dude. It's just a hot mess. So I don't think we're gonna get that much elder abuse today, because the fact is that they're going to be well, let me make sure the mic is okay, the sound is on. They're just not the sound is on. It's like Fox mutes it in the beginning. So with them muting it in the beginning, they just not letting us hear what they gotta say. But the thing about it is that they're going. You know what? Who said that? Somebody said, I don't. There you go. I don't understand why Trump's doing it either, and I don't understand why Trump is agreeing to this. You ain't gonna mute my mic, but then again, I don't know. Maybe it work in his favor. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. I told you guys like the last time. I don't anticipate Biden going into a senior moment. But this time it's going to be interesting to see what he does with dodging the questions in reference to what's been going on with the New York Post and the emails and the Hunter thing. You know, I mean, there's some real bad stuff coming out about Hunter now. Looks like he's been going to Jeffrey Epstein's classes. Him and Jeffrey Epstein been going to the same schools. Okay? These are some very bad people. These are very, 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 very bad people. So, anywho, they're not going to, they have, Trump's camp agreed to the muting of the mic. I thought that was dumb. I don't agree with it, but we're going to see how it's turned out. I don't, a lot
What
of
a
people.
beautiful place this is. I hope you all got a chance to walk around and
Okay,
see
here
this
we go.
marvelous campus. We also have a crew. You see some of the people working around. There are cameramen, lighting people, people who produce this great background. We have over 60 of them.
Okay, I don't care about this. I'll turn it on when they start doing the introduction. Right now, it's too early. It's gonna be starting. It's gonna be starting at the top of the hour. Right now, they're doing the. I like to thank Miss Mary Jane for the lighting, and I would like to thank her daughter, such a cute little girl, Bethany, for putting out all the flowers. Aren't they precious? I would also like to thank Jim Bob for the lighting and the carpentry. You know, Miss Maybelline done vacuumed this carpet so wonderfully. Oh my goodness, this is such a good thing. And I also like to thank my wife, because basically not only did she put out my suit tonight, but she also organized the seating arrangements. If you would kindly just please sit where you see your name tag on your chair. Yes, we are going to do it in an orderly fashion. Thank you so much. You know, we got to watch out for the coof. Yeah, we don't need to listen to that. What was I going to say? He done made me mess up my train of thought. But I think what's going on right now is that we're just going to have to basically see what they're going to do in reference to Trump's mic. And of course, it's going to be 2 against 1. This is not a slam dunk like I just don't anticipate a slam dunk like Daddy Pence, man. Pence handled it. Pence really handled it. I mean, like, that was such a good debate. And minus the fly, though. The only thing, I think the fly was the only thing that could save them from basically getting destroyed. I wonder how Biden is going to dodge the New York Post article. He's probably going to deny it. This is what he's going to do. Because I seen him, you guys don't know this, but a reporter already approached him about it. And Biden said, that's a smear campaign. That's a smear campaign. I knew he was going to ask me a question like that. Yeah, you can say, yeah. That's a smear campaign. Smear. You just smear me. That didn't happen. So Biden just flat out denied it and said that everything that was going on was just a smear campaign and that there's no validation behind any of this. Now, they have validated it. They also, the FBI have stated today that the emails are absolutely 100% authenticated. They are real. And so I don't know. I mean, Sometimes Trump's on his, sometimes Trump's on it and sometimes he isn't. I don't know, man. Sometimes he just, like when he agreed that he's, what was that? About the whole Clorox thing in your veins. He was like, I was just being facetious. I was like, no, you should have never said that, Trump, because you never said it. Did you forget? You never said it. So, he riled Biden up, but it was 2 against 1. I'm glad the second debate didn't happen because Scully was basically just an agent for Biden big time. And so, yeah, I just don't, I don't know. I'm not going to get in here and say, yeah, Trump's going to tear him up. I don't know. Because the reason why I'm not going to say that is because he agreed to allow them to mute his mic. And you never give these Democrats an inch because they'll take a freaking mile. You know what I'm saying? They'll take they'll take several miles. So I would have been like, under no circumstances are you going to, we never agreed to this. This is not the original agreement. Our original agreement that we had over several months, I think it was, over several months ago, that we basically would not allow them to mute the mic. Okay? That's the thing. So yeah, I'm just basically just not gonna I'm not gonna sit up here and just allow. Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I just really wouldn't do it. I really wouldn't do it. It's gonna be a little nerve-wracking, guys, but I'm gonna make it entertaining as possible. You know what I'm saying? I got my sound effects ready. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna see how it's gonna go. I just don't know what's gonna happen. So it's 8:47, so it should be starting in about 13 minutes. Cornelius Brune's Trump isn't as articulate or emotionally focused as Pence. These are true words. I cannot deny the truth that you're spewing there, Cornelius Brunes. Daddy Pence is just basically, he knows how to handle it. He knows how to take charge. He's just so alpha. Yes, that man's so alpha. Okay, hold on a second. Listen what this is saying. Hold on.
Good evening. I join Frank, Janet, and fellow board members, including Yvonne Howe and John Griffin, who are with us tonight, in welcoming you to the 24th presidential debate sponsored and organized by the Commission on Presidential Debates, and the second hosted by Belmont University. As the newest co-chair of the Commission, I'm proud to work alongside dedicated...
Blah, blah, blah. This is just filler stuff. I'm going to talk to you so you don't have to go to the bathroom and not realize that we're just going to start on time. The thing about it is that what do I want to say? But anyway, yeah. Trump kind of doesn't go. Trump likes to go off script, and that's one of the biggest things I have a problem with him is when he goes off script. Okay, I don't like when he goes off script. But we're about to see. Pence came back to my city today, and I had to work. Really? Where are you, Elizabeth? Type it in the chat. You don't have to put it in a super chat. Where are you? Let's see. No, he's gonna try to come off as a debate commission isn't biased. Biden's Biden sniffer. No, he didn't. Y'all lying. In Fort Indiana. What are you trying to say? Fort what? Fort Wayne, Indiana? Is that what you're trying to say? You in Indiana. I'm going back to Indiana. Indiana, where I come. I'm going back to Indiana. I forget the rest of the words to that song, but that's a real old song. Oh, man. I wish he came down here to Georgia. I would have came anywhere to go see him. But kudos to you. That's by the Jackson 5. It's before you whippersnappers were even born. That's right. It's actually, why are you kidding? It's before I was born. I wasn't even born when that song was made, so but I remember it. When I was a little girl, I was in love with Michael Jackson, but he was black back then, by the way. Okay, he had his black nose, his black skin, his black hair, and then he just turned into a white woman. I don't know what happened, but I was not into it, honey. That was a big fat no. I was not into it. So yeah, there you have it. Yeah. So I knew those knuckleheads was going to take my ad. I'm just hold on a second, guys. I'm making some adjustments here. Here for a second. YouTube will monetize. Look. YouTube, when it comes to these debates like this, YouTube will monetize me for like 15 minutes, and then they'll go, no money for you, and then the sucker will turn yellow. Hold on, let's see what's this is all about. Hold on a second.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Tonight's a night to celebrate America, but if you're Belmont, it's a night to just express gratitude and thankfulness for all that's been done and the opportunities that we've been given. I want to thank the commission for your support. Janet Brown, thank you. Thank you to the co-chairs. Thank you so much. You know, it's one thing to be a partner when times are kind of easy. It's amazing when times get tough.
Yarn. Okay, so he's going through all that talking, that job talking. I don't care what you gotta say there, dude. I know, don't they look crazy when they're talking with that on their face? Like, it should be starting at the top of the hour, so we have about 8 more minutes. Or make that 7 more minutes. So we have 7 more minutes, and then they'll start. And these are white people, professional white people, so they will be starting on time. Okay, this ain't the BET Awards or something like that, where they be coming all late, like an hour and a half. You know what I'm saying? They will be starting at the top of the hour, and we will be right here to watch all of this. So yes, that's right. And there's no CPT here in the debates. Okay. Pence's speech is on Trump's channel if you want to watch it. I got so much news to watch. I'll watch Daddy Pence some other day though. I don't have no problem watching him. I like my favorite clip is when he put Mad Maxine Waters in her place. Miss, I'm reclaiming my time. When she tried to, when was this? Actually, this was a while ago. This was back in 17 or 18, something like that. I don't know. Something like that. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, I'll watch him because he's been making the tours lately. So that's been pretty great. I want to see Melania. Oh my God, I wonder what kind of dress she's going to be wearing right now. Lord have mercy, this is going to be a hot mess. Oh my God, no, she's not coordinating with her mask and her dress, her flower dress, girl. Oh my goodness, Miss Biden done lost it. What? How tacky can... Whoa, my God, Lord have mercy. Look at our queen. She is here. Oh, my goodness. Hold on a second. Woo! Lord have mercy. Yes, Lord. Yes. Look at Melania. Yes, the queen, baby. The queen is here. Okay, let me see if they're going to start. Dude! Yeah, when you compare Biden's wife to Melania, that's hate speech. That's hate speech. Who do I report? I need to report Google. You know what I'm saying? You can't, oh my goodness. She looking like a grandma with that dress on, big old, not the tiny flowers, but the big giant flowers, and have the nerve that her face diaper had the nerve to basically look the same like her dress. Why would you put flowers on your face like that? You know what I'm saying? Oh my God. You know what? These people coordinating their mask with their dress as if this is going to be a long-term thing. I'm not starting. No way. Yeah, she is trying too hard. She's trying too hard. I mean, that dress, if I'm not mistaken, I saw that dress when I went to go pick up some shampoo at Walmart. I do believe that sucker was on sale for $29.95. You know what I'm saying? It was in the missus section. So I don't know. For her to have all that money, because you know they millionaires, why would she get a dress like that off the rack? Fashion police. Uh-oh, here we go. Let me see.
Moderator for this evening's debate is Kristen Welker of NBC News.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening.
Whoa!
Thank you so much for being here. It is such an honor for me to moderate this debate tonight, the final debate. I want to welcome the First Family and the First Lady. We're so glad and thankful that you are feeling better.
Oh,
I want to
God.
welcome the Biden family, Dr. Jill Biden. Thank you all for being here tonight. We are so excited. We're looking forward to a really robust discussion. And the only thing I would reiterate are the CPD guidelines that when the candidates are talking, please hold any applause or any other reactions, except, of course, when they walk out. Make sure you cheer and loud and applause so that everyone can hear you. Thank you for having me. This is really the honor of a lifetime. I am going to sit down and just get organized and get settled, and the show will start very soon. Thank you for being here.
You suck, lady. I don't like you. I don't like her. I don't like her. Look. She's going to scream Black Lives Matter in the middle of the debate watch. She's so woke. She's so woke. She's like, excuse me. Oh, my God. Now, how many times are they going to ask President Trump, has he ever denounced white supremacy? President Trump, do you believe that Black Lives Matter? Oh, gosh, man. All right, it's about 3 more minutes. 8, 9, 10. Yep. No, 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes, and then they're giving Joe his cocktail right now. And I'm talking about through the needle, basically, trying to give him his Adderall and his Alzheimer's medication, making sure they got his earpiece in his ear so he can hear correctly the notes, and they're giving him his notes because he used the notes last time. And make sure that the teleprompter is somewhere hiding in the back area. No, Hunter's not as dear. Hunter's somewhere hiding. They got Hunter in the hiding space. That old nasty boy. I swear. So, imagine Pence asked Kamala Harris if Black Lives Matter. You know what? That wouldn't have gone over well, but I would have laughed. I would have laughed really, really hard. I would have been like, She should have asked her, does Black Lives Matter when it comes to her incarcerating everybody smoking the little devil lettuce when she put in jail, you know? And let's not forget the parents for the truancy of their didn't do kids, you know what I'm saying? Well, whatever, you know, whatever they want. Oh, God, I swear. Let me see. All right, so we got, okay, it's the top of the hour. All right, they should start getting them out of here. Giving probably Biden a little electric shock. They need to give Trump some downers or something. I don't know what kind of downers you would have, but they need to give him some stuff that's going to make, you know, him not be so edgy, be nice and cool. Maybe a nice drink or something, you know, a nice thing of whiskey or a bourbon Or what other kind of drinks, Scott? Y'all stopped drinking several years ago. I don't even know what people drink, but I never did like brown liquor though. I never liked it. I never liked it. The POTUS doesn't drink. Well, cool. He and I got that in common. We got vodka. Well, he doesn't. I just was informed that he doesn't drink. So there you have it. They are 2 minutes late, y'all. Uh-oh. Maybe this is the BET Awards. And they starting on CPT. Come on now. Well, y'all can't do the CP time. I mean, it's 2 minutes after. Where are the people at? So I can shut up and stop trying to entertain the crowd. Oh, good point, Matt. A black woman is, but see, you can't really put that out there because the black woman is out there on time. Okay? It's the two elder white men that are not there on time. The Miss Melania was right there on time, honey. Y'all see that she walked in there. She sashayed herself up in there, sat down with all her glory. Okay, where's Trump? Where's Biden? I'm trying to figure out, like, hey, where they at? So, oh, 3 minutes late. See, this is when you know white people been hanging around black folks too long. You're starting to, our bad habits are starting to rub off on you. Y'all better go and start hanging around some Germans. They're very on time. Matter of fact, if you show up 10 minutes early, you are late according to them. That's just how bad, this is how they punctual them people are. I loved it over there. You can basically set your watch to the time of the train and the buses. Okay? That's the thing. Uh-oh, here we go. They're zooming in. Okay, there's a teleprompter.
Good evening from Belmont University in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm Kristen Welker of NBC News, and I welcome you to the final 2020 presidential debate between President Donald J. Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. Tonight's debate is sponsored by the Commission on Presidential Debates. It is conducted under health and safety protocols designed by the Commission's health security advisor. The audience here in the hall has promised to remain silent. No cheers, boos, or other interruptions, except right now, as we welcome to the stage former Vice President Joe Biden and President Donald J. Trump.
Look at Joe coming out there taking off his diaper, face diaper.
And I do want to say a very good evening to both of you. This debate will cover 6 major topics. At the beginning of each section, each candidate will have 2 minutes uninterrupted to answer my first question. The debate commission will then turn on their microphone only when it is their turn to answer. And the commission will turn it off exactly when the 2 minutes have expired.
Oh, no!
Both microphones will remain on. But on behalf of the voters, I'm going to ask you to please speak one at a time. The goal is for you to hear each other and for the American people to hear every word of what you both have to say. And so with that, if you're ready, let's start. And we will begin with the fight against the coronavirus. President Trump, the first question is for you. The country is heading into a dangerous new phase. More than 40,000 Americans are in the hospital tonight with COVID, including record numbers here in Tennessee. And since the two of you last shared a stage, 16,000 Americans have died from COVID. So please be specific. How would you lead the country during this next stage of the coronavirus crisis? 2 minutes, uninterrupted.
So, as you know, 2.2 million people modeled out were expected to die. We closed up the greatest economy in the world in order to fight this horrible disease that came from China. It's a worldwide pandemic. It's all over the world. You see the spikes in Europe and many other places right now. If you notice, the mortality rate is down 85%. The excess mortality rate is way down and much lower than almost any other country. And we're fighting it, and we're fighting it hard. There is a spike. There was a spike in Florida, and it's now gone. There was a very big spike in Texas. It's now gone. There was a very big spike in Arizona. It's now gone. And there are some spikes and surges in other places. They will soon be gone. We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. It's going to be announced within weeks, and it's going to be delivered. We have Operation Warp Speed, which is the military is going to distribute the vaccine. I can tell you from personal experience that I was in the hospital, I had it, and I got better, and I will tell you that I had something that they gave me, a therapeutic, I guess they would call it. Some people could say it was a cure, but I was in for a short period of time, and I got better very fast, or I wouldn't be here tonight. And now they say I'm immune. Whether it's 4 months or a lifetime, nobody's been able to say that, but I'm immune. More and more people are getting better. We have a problem that's a worldwide problem. This is a worldwide problem. But I've been congratulated by the heads of many countries on what we've been able to do. If you take a look at what we've done in terms of goggles and masks and gowns and everything else, and in particular ventilators. We're now making ventilators all over the world, thousands and thousands a month, distributing them all over the world. It will go away, and as I say, we're rounding the turn, we're rounding the corner. It's going away.
Okay, former Vice President Biden, to you, how would you lead the country out of this crisis? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
220,000 Americans dead. If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States.
Cuomo!
We're in a situation where there are 1,000 deaths a day now, 1,000 deaths a day, 1,000 Americans dead between now and the end of the year. If we just wore these masks, the President's own advisors have told him, we could save 100,000 lives.
Oh, my God.
And we're in a circumstance where the President thus far and still has no plan, no comprehensive plan. What I would do is make sure we have everyone encouraged to wear a mask all the time. I would make sure we move in the direction of rapid testing, investing in rapid testing. I would make sure that we set up national standards as to how to open up schools and open up businesses so they can be safe and give them the wherewithal, the financial resources to be able to do that. We're in a situation now where the New England Medical Journal, one of the most serious journals in the whole world, said for the first time ever that the way this president has responded to this crisis has been absolutely tragic. And so, folks, I will take care of this. I will end this. I will make sure we have a plan.
Nope. President Trump, I'd like to follow up with you and your comments. You talked about taking a therapeutic. I assume you're referencing Regeneron. You also said a vaccine will be coming within weeks.
Yes.
Is that a guarantee?
No, it's not a guarantee, but it will be by the end of the year. But I think it has a good chance. There are two companies, I think, within a matter of weeks, and it will be distributed very quickly.
Can you tell us which companies?
Johnson & Johnson is doing very well. Moderna is doing very well. Pfizer is doing very well, and we have numerous others. Then we also have others that we're working on very closely with other countries, in particular Europe.
Let me follow up with you, and because this is new information, you have said a vaccine is coming soon, within weeks now. Your own officials say it could take well into 2021 at the earliest for enough Americans to get vaccinated. And even then, they say the country will be wearing masks and distancing into 2022. Is your timeline realistic?
No, I think my timeline is going to be more accurate. I don't know that they're counting on the military the way I do, but we have our generals lined up, one in particular that's the
God, I'll be
head of
glad when we get off the
logistics,
subject.
and this is a very easy distribution for him. He's ready to go as soon as we have the vaccine, and we expect to have 100 million vials. As soon as we have the vaccine, he's ready to go.
Vice President Biden, your reaction, and just 40% of Americans say they would definitely agree to take a coronavirus vaccine if it was approved by the government. What steps would you take to give Americans confidence in a vaccine if it were approved?
Make sure it's totally transparent. Have the scientists of the world see it, know it, look at it, go through all the processes. And by the way, this is the same fellow who told you this is going to end by Easter last time. This is the same fellow who told you that, don't worry, we're going to end this by the summer. We're about to go into a dark winter, And
How
he
did he
has
know it's
no
gonna be a
clear
dark
plan,
winter?
and there's no prospect that there's going to be a vaccine available for the majority of the American people before the middle of next year.
President Trump, your reaction, he says you
I don't
have no
think we're going to
plan.
have a dark winter at all. We're opening up our country. We've learned and studied and understand the disease, which we didn't at the beginning. When I closed and banned China from coming in heavily infected, and then ultimately Europe, but China was in January. Months later, he was saying I was xenophobic. I did it too soon. Now he's saying, oh, I should have, moved quicker. But he didn't move quicker. He was months behind me, many months behind me. And frankly, he ran the H1N1 swine flu, and it was a total disaster, far less lethal, but it was a total disaster. Had that had this kind of numbers, 700,000 people would be dead right now, but it was a far less lethal disease. Look, his own person who ran that for him, who, as you know, was his chief of staff, said it was catastrophic, it was horrible, we didn't know what we were doing. Now he comes up and he tells us how to do this. Also, everything that he said about the way every single move that he said we should make, that's what we've done. We've done all of it. But he was way behind us.
Vice President Biden, your
Very
response.
good,
My
Trump.
response is he is xenophobic, but not because he shut down access from China. And he did it late after 40 countries had already done that. In addition to that, what he did, he made sure that we had 44 people that were in there in China trying to get to Wuhan to determine what exactly the source was. What did the president say in January? He said, no, he said, he's being transparent. The president of China is being transparent. We owe him a debt of gratitude. We have to thank him. And then what happened was we started talking about using the Defense Act to make sure we go out and get whatever is needed out there to protect people. And again, I go back to this. He had nothing. He did virtually nothing. And then he gets out of the hospital and he talks about, don't worry, it's all going to be over soon. Come on. There's not another serious scientist in the world who thinks it's going to be over soon.
President Trump, your reaction?
I say over soon. I say we're learning to live with it. We have no choice. We can't lock ourselves up in a basement like Joe does. He has the ability to lock himself up. I don't know. He's obviously made a lot of money someplace, but he has this thing about living in a basement. People can't do that. By the way, I, as the president, couldn't do that. I'd love to put myself in the basement or in a beautiful room in the White House and go away for a year and a half until it disappears. I can't do that. And Kirsten, every meeting I had, and I'd meet a lot of families, including Gold Star families and military families, every meeting I had, and I had to meet them. I had to. It would be horrible to have canceled everything. I said, this is dangerous. And you catch it. And, I caught it. I learned a lot. Great doctors, great hospitals. And now I recovered. 99.9 of young people recover. 99% of people recover. We have to recover. We can't close up our nation. We have to open our school, and we can't close up our nation, or you're not going to have a nation.
And of course, the CDC has said young people can get sick with COVID-19 and can pass it. Vice President Biden, I want to talk broadly about strategy, though.
Can I respond to that?
30 seconds, please,
For
and then
30
I have a
seconds.
question.
No, number one, he says that we're learning to live with it. People are learning to die with it. You folks home will have an empty chair at the kitchen table this morning.
Lies!
That man or wife going to bed tonight and reaching over and trying
He's
to touch
a liar,
out of habit where
fearmonger.
their wife or husband is gone.
Lies.
Learning to live with it. Come on. We're dying with it.
No, we're
because
not.
He's never said, you said it's dangerous. When's the last time? Is it really dangerous still? Are we dangerous? You tell the people it's dangerous now? What should they
It's
do
not
about the danger?
dangerous.
And you say, I take no responsibility.
Let me talk about your two.
Excuse me, I take full responsibility. It's not my fault that he came here. It's China's fault. And you know what? It's not Joe's fault that he came here either. It's China's fault. They kept it from going into the rest of China for the most part, but they didn't keep it from coming out to the world, including Europe and ourselves.
Vice President
Good
Biden.
response.
The fact is,
no, shut
when
up.
we knew it was coming, when it hit, what happened? What did the president say? He said, don't worry, it's going to go away. Be gone by Easter. Don't worry. The warm weather. Don't worry. Maybe inject bleach. He said he was kidding when he said that. A lot of people
Defend
thought it was
yourself,
serious.
Trump. Defend
A
yourself.
whole range of things the president has said. Even today, he thinks we are in control. We're about to lose 200,000
Trump, don't let him get away
more
with that
people.
lie.
President Trump.
Look, perhaps just to finish this, I was kidding on that, but just to finish this, when I closed, he said I shouldn't have closed. And that went on for months. Nancy Pelosi said the same thing. She was dancing on the streets in Chinatown in San Francisco. But when I closed, he said, this is a terrible thing, you're xenophobic. I think he called me racist even, and because I was closing it to China. Now he says I should have closed it earlier. It just, Joe, it doesn't work.
I didn't say either of those things.
You
I didn't
certainly
say
did.
Sugar
You
Coercy,
certainly
and I
You did say
I
it.
talked
You
about
did say it.
xenophobia in a different context. It wasn't about closing the border to Chinese coming to the United States.
All right, I want to talk about both of your different strategies to handling
He thought
this.
I shouldn't have closed the border.
Well, let's-
That's obvious.
Do you want to respond to that quickly, Vice President Biden? Okay. Let's talk about your different strategies toward dealing with this. Mr. Vice President, you suggested you would support new shutdowns if scientists recommended it. What do you say to Americans who are fearful that the cost of shutdowns, the impact on the economy, the higher rates of hunger, depression, domestic and substance abuse outweighs the risk of exposure to the virus?
What I would say is I'm going to shut down the virus, not the country. It's his ineptitude that caused
How do
the
you shut down the virus?
country to have to shut down in large part. Why businesses have gone under, why schools are closed, why so many people have lost their living, and why they're concerned. Those other concerns are real. That's why he should have been, instead of in a sand trap in his golf course, he should have been negotiating with Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the Democrats and Republicans about what to do about the acts they were passing for billions of dollars to make sure people had the capacity.
But you haven't ruled out more shutdowns.
Well, no, I'm not shutting down the name, but there are, look, you need standards. The standard
him
is if you
stumbling.
have a reproduction rate in a community that's above a certain level, everybody says, slow up, more social distancing, do not open bars and do not open gymnasiums, do not open until you get this under control, under more control. But when you do open, give the people the capacity to be able to open and have the capacity to do it safely. For example, schools. Schools, they need a lot of money to open. They need to deal with ventilation systems. They need to deal with smaller classes, more teachers, more pods. And he's refused to support that money, or at least up to now.
Let's talk about schools. President Trump,
I think we have to respond, if I might.
please, and then I have a follow-up.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Look, all he does is talk about shutdowns, but forget about him. His Democrat governors, Cuomo in New York, you look at what's going on in California, you look at Pennsylvania, North Carolina,
Get 'em.
Democrats all, they're shut down so tight and they're dying. They're dying. And he supports all these people. All he talks about is shutdowns. No, we're not going to shut down, and we have to open our schools. And it's like, as an example, I have a young son. He also tested positive. By the time I spoke to the doctor the second time, he was fine. It just went away. Young people, I guess it's their immune system.
Let me follow up with you, President Trump. You've demanded schools open in person and insist they can do it safely. But just yesterday, Boston became the latest city to move its public school system entirely online after a coronavirus spike. What is your message to parents who worry that sending their children to school will endanger not only their kids, but also their teachers and families?
I want to open the schools. The transmittal rate to the teachers is very small, but I want to open the schools. We have to open our country. We're not going to have a country. You can't do this. We can't keep this country closed. This is a massive country with a massive economy. People are losing their jobs. They're committing suicide. There's depression, alcohol, drugs at a level that nobody's ever seen before. There's abuse, tremendous abuse. We have to open our country. You know, I've said it often. The cure cannot be worse than the problem itself. And that's what's happening. And he wants to close down. He'll close down the country if one person in our massive bureaucracy says we should close it down.
Vice President Biden, your response.
Simply not true. We ought to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time. We ought to be able to safely open, but they need resources to open. You need to be able to, for example, if you're going to open a business, have social distancing within the business. You need to have, if you have a restaurant, you need to have plexiglass dividers so people cannot infect one another. You need to be in a position where you can take testing rapidly and know whether a person is in fact infected. You need to be able to trace. You need to be able to provide all the resources that are needed to do this. And that is not inconsistent with saying that we're going to make sure that we open safely. And by the way, all you teachers out there, not that many of you are going to die, so don't worry about it.
Their kids ain't going to die either, dumbass.
President Trump, let me follow up with you quickly.
By the way, I will say this. If you go and look at what's happened to New York, it's a ghost town. It's a ghost town. And when we talk about plexiglass, these are restaurants that are dying. These are businesses with no money. Putting up plexiglass is unbelievably expensive, and it's not the answer. I mean, you're going to sit there in a cubicle wrapped around with plastic? These are businesses that are dying, Joe. You can't do that to people. You just can't. Take a look at New York and what's happened to my wonderful city for so many years. I loved it. It was vibrant. It's dying. Everyone's leaving New York.
Take a look at what New York has done in terms of turning the curve down in terms of the number of people dying. And I don't look at this in terms of the way he does.
Oh, my God.
Blue states and red
This is a
states.
blatant
They're all the
lie.
United States. And look at the states that are having such a spike in the coronavirus. They're the red states. They're the states in the Midwest. They're the states in the upper Midwest.
it's
That's where
not.
the spike is occurring significantly.
No, it's
but they're
not.
all
Georgia's
Americans.
not even in a
They're all
spike.
Americans. And what we have to do is say, wear these masks, number one. Make sure we get the help that the businesses
Oh, my God,
need.
Joe
That
is
money's
lying.
already been passed to do that. It's been out there since the beginning of the summer, and nothing's happened.
President, New York has lost more than 40,000 people.
Thank you, Joe.
11,000 people.
Thank
in
you,
nursing
Trump.
homes.
President
Thank
Trump, what
When you
about
say spike, take a look at what's happening in Pennsylvania, where they've had it closed.
Yes.
Take a look at what's happening with your friend in Michigan, where her husband's the only one allowed to do anything. It's been like a prison. Now it was just ruled unconstitutional. Take a look at North Carolina. They're having spikes, and they've been closed, and they're getting killed financially. We can't let that happen, Joe. You can't let that happen. We have to open up. And we understand the disease. We have to protect our seniors. We have to protect our elderly. We have to protect especially our seniors with heart problems and diabetes problems. And we will protect them. We have the best testing in the world by far. That's why we have so many cases.
Let me follow up with you before we move on to our next section. President Trump, this week you called Dr. Anthony Fauci, the nation's best-known infectious disease expert, quote, a disaster. You described him and other medical experts
He
as, quote,
is.
idiots. If you're not listening
Dr.
to them,
Hitler.
who are you listening to as you
Let me,
fight this?
I'm listening to all of them, including Anthony. I get along very well with Anthony. But he did say, don't wear masks. He did say,
He sure
as you
did.
know,
I got the
this
video.
is not going to be a problem.
Sure did.
I think he's a Democrat, but that's okay. He said this is not going to be a problem. We are not going to have a problem at all. When Joe says that, I said, Anthony Fauci said, and others, and many others, and I'm not knocking him a lot. Nobody knew. Look, nobody knew what this thing was. Nobody knew where it was coming from, what it was. We've learned a lot. But Anthony said, don't wear masks. Now he wants to wear masks. Anthony also said, if you look back, exact words, here's his exact words. This is no problem. This is going to go away soon. So
Sure
he's allowed to
did.
make mistakes. He happens to be a good person.
Vice President Biden, your response quickly, and then we're going to move on to the next section.
Our
Thank you.
response is that think about what the president knew in January and didn't tell the American people. He was told this was a serious virus that spread in the air, and it was much worse than the flu. He went on record and said to one of your colleagues, recorded, that in fact he knew how dangerous it was, but he didn't want to tell us.
More people
He didn't
died
want
of
to tell us
pneumonia,
because
by the
he
way.
didn't want us to panic. He didn't want us. Americans don't panic. He panicked. But guess what? In the meantime, we found out in the New York Times the other day that, in fact, his folks went to Wall Street and said this is a really dangerous thing. And a memo out of that meeting, not from his
Oh, Joe
administration,
wanna
but
play
from some of the
dirty.
brokers, said
Okay.
sell short because we got to get moving.
I hope you can
It's a
take it
dangerous
as much
process.
as you can
I'm going to
take
give you
This
30
is one I
seconds to
haven't heard.
respond, and then we're
The
going
Wall
to
Street
move
one,
on.
I don't know. Somebody went to Wall Street. You're the one that takes all the money from Wall Street. I don't take it.
I have.
You have raised a lot of money, tremendous amounts of money. And every time you raise money, deals are made, Joe. I could raise so much more money. As president and as somebody that knows most of those people, I could call the heads of Wall Street, the heads of every company in America. I would blow away every record, but I don't want to do that because it puts me in a bad position. And then you bring up Wall Street. You shouldn't be bringing up Wall Street because you're the one that takes the money from Wall Street, not me. I could blow away your records that like you wouldn't believe. We don't need money. We have plenty of money. In fact, we beat Hillary Clinton with a tiny fraction of the money that she was able
All right,
to.
gentlemen, we're going to move on.
Average
We're gonna-
contribution, $43.
All right, we're going to move on to our next section, which is national security. And I do want to start with the security of our elections and some breaking news from overnight. Just last night, top intelligence officials confirmed again that both Russia and Iran are working to influence this election. Both countries have obtained U.S. voter registration information, these officials say, and Iran sent intimidating messages to Florida voters. This question goes to you, Mr. Vice President. What would you do to put an end to this threat? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
I made it clear, and I ask everyone else to take the pledge. I made it clear that any country, no matter who it is, that interferes in American elections will pay a price. They will pay a price.
Except for Russia.
It's been overwhelmingly clear this election, I won't even
China.
get into the last one, this election, that Russia has been involved, China has been involved to some degree, and now we learn that Iran is involved. They will pay a price if I'm elected. They're
No, you
interfering
won't.
with
No, you
American
won't.
sovereignty. That's what's going on
Are
right
you gonna
now.
send
They're interfering with
Hunter?
American sovereignty. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think the president said anything to Putin about it. I don't think he's talking to them a lot. I don't think he said a word. I don't know why he hadn't said a word to Putin about it. And I don't know what he has recently said, if anything, to the Iranians. My guess is he'd probably be more outspoken with regard to the Iranians. But the point is this, folks. We are in a situation where we have foreign countries trying to interfere in the outcome of our election. His own national security advisor told him that what is happening with his buddy, I will. His buddy, Rudy Giuliani, he's being used as a Russian pawn. He's being fed information that is Russian, that is not true. And then what happens? Nothing happens. And then you find out that everything that's going on here about Russia is wanting to make sure that I do not get elected the next president of the United States because they know I know them and they know me. I don't understand why this president is unwilling to take on Putin when he's actually paying bounties to kill American soldiers in Afghanistan, when he's engaged in activities that are trying to destabilize all of NATO. I don't know why he doesn't do it, but it's worth asking the question, why isn't that being done? Any country that interferes with us will, in fact, pay a price because they're affecting our sovereignty.
Now, as you as
President Trump, same question to you. Let me ask the question. You're going to have 2 minutes to respond. For 2 elections in a row now, there has been substantial interference from foreign adversaries. What would you do in your next term to put an end to this? 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Well, let me respond to the first part, as Joe answered. Joe got $3.5 million from Russia, and it came through Putin because he was very friendly with the former mayor of Moscow, and it was the mayor of Moscow's wife. And you got $3.5 million. Your family got $3.5 million. And, someday you're going to have to explain, why did you get 3.5? I never got any money from Russia. I don't get money. Finish him. Now, about your thing last night, I knew all about that. And through John Ratcliffe, who is fantastic, he said, the one thing that's common to both of them, they both want you to lose because there has been nobody tougher to Russia. Between the sanctions, nobody tougher than me on Russia. Between the sanctions, between all of what I've done with NATO, I've got the NATO countries to put up an extra $130 billion, going to $420 billion a year. That's to guard against Russia. I sold, while he was selling pillows and sheets, I sold tank busters to Ukraine. There has been nobody tougher on Russia than Donald Trump. Yep. And I'll tell you, they were so bad. They took over the submarine port. You remember that very well. During your term, during you and Barack Obama, they took over a big part of what should have been Ukraine. You handed it to them, but you were getting a lot of money from Russia. They were paying you a lot of money, and they probably still are. But now, with what came out today, it's even worse. All of the emails, the horrible emails of the kind of money that you were raking in, you and your family. And, Joe, you were vice president when some of this was happening, and it should have never happened. And I think you owe an explanation to the American people. Why is it? Somebody just had a news conference a little while ago who was essentially supposed to work with you and your family, but what he said was damning. And regardless of me, I think you have to clean it up and talk to the American people. Maybe you can do it right now.
Fatality.
Vice President Biden, you may respond. And then I do want to follow up on the election security.
I have not taken a penny from any foreign source ever.
No, you
in
took
my
it
life.
from your
We
son who
learned
took it
that
from
this
a foreign
president paid 50 times the tax in China, has a secret bank
He's
account with China,
deflecting.
does business in China, and in fact is talking about me taking money. I have not taken a single penny from any
Your son
country
did and gave it to
whatsoever,
you,
ever.
Joe.
Number one. Number two, This is a president. I have released all of my tax returns. 22 years. Go
Look at
look
him
at them.
getting away from it.
22 years of
Look
my
at him
tax
running
returns.
away from it.
You have not released a single solitary year of your tax return. What are you hiding? Why are you unwilling?
Get him,
The foreign
Trump.
countries
Get
are
him.
paying you a lot. Russia's paying you a lot. China's paying you a lot. And your hotels and all your businesses all around the country, all around the world. And China's
Trump,
building a new
please
road
get
to a
him.
new
Oh, my God.
a golf course you have overseas. So what's going on here? Why don't release your tax return or stop talking about corruption?
President Trump, your response.
First of all, I called my accountants under audit. I'm going to release them as soon as we can. I want to do it, and it'll show how successful, how great this company is. But much more importantly than that, people were saying $750. I asked them a week ago, I said, what did I pay? They said, sir, you prepaid tens of millions of dollars. I prepaid my tax. Tens over the last number of years. Tens of millions of dollars I prepaid.
Get back on
Because
Russia.
at some
Get back
point
on the
they think
emails,
it's an
Trump.
estimate. They think I may have to pay tax. So I already prepaid it. Nobody told me that.
Did your accountant
Nobody
tell you
told
when
you
you
that.
could release
Excuse
them?
me. And it wasn't written whenever they write this. They keep talking about $750, which I think is a filing fee. But let me just tell you, I prepaid millions and millions of dollars in taxes.
Get back on the
Number
get
one.
back on
Number
the
two,
email.
I
Get
don't
back
make
on
money
Hunter.
from China. You do. I don't make money from Ukraine. You
There
do.
we go.
I don't make money from Russia. You made $3.5 million, Joe, and your son gave you. They even have
There
a
we go.
statement
There we go.
that we have to give 10% to the big man. You're the big man, I think.
Yep.
Maybe you're not, but you're the big man, I think. Your son said we have to give 10% to the big man. Joe, what's that all about? It's terrible.
All right, gentlemen, I want to ask you both some questions.
No!
I'm
You
gonna
gotta
let you both respond
respond!
very quickly.
Oh
you
my
said
God,
you spoke
this
to your
bitch!
accountant
Oh
about
my
potentially
God!
releasing your taxes. Did he tell you when you can release them? Do you
As
have
soon
a
as the audit
deadline
is
for when
Once
you're going to
again,
release
I
them to
get
the American
Once
treated
people?
again, she's
worse
helping
than the Tea Party
Biden.
got
Do you
treated.
see what she just
Because I
did?
have a lot of
Did you
people
see what
in
she
there
just did?
deep down in the IRS. They treat me horribly.
Oh, my
we
God.
made a deal. It was all settled until I decide to run for president. I get treated very badly by the IRS, very unfairly.
She's
But
helping
we had
Joe.
a deal all done. As soon as we're completed with the deal, I want to release it. But I have paid millions and millions of dollars, and it's worse than paying. I paid in advance. It's called prepaying your taxes. I paid in advance.
I want to ask you both about questions regarding your potential foreign entanglements and questions that have been raised to give you both a chance
Some
to
point
talk
I'll
about
respond
this
to
more
this.
broadly. Respond very quickly, and then I'll get to my question.
Why did he's been saying this for 4 years? Show us. Just show us. Stop playing around. You've been saying for 4 years
Everybody
you're going to
knows
release your taxes. Nobody knows it, Mr. President. What they do know is you're not paying your taxes, or you're paying taxes that are so low. When last time he
Oh
said
my
he paid,
gosh,
he
she's
said,
letting
"I
him.
only pay
She
that little
saved
because
him
I'm
from the
smart.
Russia thing,
I
and
know
now
how
we
to
back on the
game system."
taxes.
Come on. Come on, folks.
Very
So
quickly, President Trump, and then I want to get to two questions to both of you on this.
I was put through a phony witch hunt for 3 years. It started before I even got elected. They spied on my campaign. No president should ever have to go through what I went through. Let me just say this. Mueller and 18 angry Democrats and FBI agents all over the place spent $48 million. They went through everything I had, including my tax returns, and they found absolutely no collusion and nothing wrong. $48 million. I guarantee you, if I spent $1 million on you, Joe, I could find plenty wrong. Because
All
the
right.
kind of things that you've done and the kind of monies that your family has taken, I mean, your brother made money in Iraq.
Let me-
Millions of dollars.
Shut up,
Your other
bitch, shut
brother
up,
made a
shut up,
fortune.
let him
And it's
talk.
all through you, Joe. And they say you get some of it. And you do live very well. You have houses all over the place. You live very well.
All right, gentlemen, let me just ask you some questions about all of this broadly. Vice President Biden, there have been questions about the work your son has done in China and for a Ukrainian energy company when you were vice president. In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Nothing was unethical. Here's what the deal. With regard to Ukraine, we had this whole question about whether or not, because he was on the board, I later learned of a Burisma, a company, that somehow I had done something wrong. Yet every single solitary person, when he was going through his impeachment, testifying under oath who worked for him, said, I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S. policy. Not one single solitary thing was out of line. Not a single thing, number one. Number two, The guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do because it never, ever, ever happened. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about? China. I have not had it. The only guy who made money from China is this guy.
Rush! Oh my God, he's
Nobody else has
deflecting!
made money
He's
from China.
deflecting!
President
deal-
Trump,
deal with
let me,
China.
let me
By the
ask
way-
my question to you.
But
and
could
then
I just,
you'll-
one thing?
Very quickly.
His son didn't have a job for a long time, was sadly no longer in the military service. I won't get into that. And he didn't have a job. As soon as he became vice president, Burisma, not the best reputation in the world, I hear they paid him $183,000 a month. Listen to this. 183, and they gave him a $3 million upfront payment.
All right.
And he had no energy
I'm going to let the
experience.
Vice President
That's
respond to that quickly,
100%
and then I need to get to a
dishonest.
question to you. Very
No
quickly,
basis
Mr.
for
Vice
that. Everybody investigated that. No one said anything he did was wrong.
Yes,
in
they
Ukraine.
did.
Okay,
FBI
President
said
Trump,
it
this
today.
is for you.
Trump,
Since you took
respond.
office, you've never divested from your business. You've
Freak.
personally promoted your properties abroad. A report this week, which was referenced, does indicate that your company has a bank account in China. So how can voters know that you don't have any foreign conflicts of interest?
I have many bank accounts, and they're all listed, and they're all over the place. I mean, I was a businessman doing business. The bank account you're referring to, which is, everybody knows about it, it's listed. The bank account was in 2013. That's what it was. It was opened it was closed in 2015, I believe. And then I decided, because I was thinking about doing a deal in China like millions of other people. I was thinking about it, and I decided I'm not going to do it. Didn't like it. I decided not to do it. Had an account open, and I closed it.
Okay.
Excuse me. And then, unlike him, where he's vice president and he does business, I then decided to run for president after that. That was before. So I closed it before
Good answer,
I even
Trump. Good
ran
answer.
for president.
Good answer.
Let alone became president.
Good.
Big difference. He is the vice president of the United States, and his son, his brother, and his other brother are getting rich. They're like a vacuum cleaner. They're sucking
Okay,
up money.
President Trump, thank you. We do need to
Yeah,
move
go
on.
save
I
'em,
do wanna
girl.
ask
Go
you,
save 'em.
Vice President Biden, about China. Let's talk about China more broadly. There have, of course, President Trump has said that they should pay for not being fully transparent in regards to the coronavirus. If you were president, would you make China pay? And please be specific. What would that look like?
What I'd make China do is play by the international rules, not like he has done. He has caused the deficit of China to go up, not down, with China, up, not down. We are making sure that in order to do business in China, you have to give all your intellectual property. You have to have a partner in China. It's 51%. We would not do that at all, number one. Number two, we're in a situation where China would have to play by the rules internationally as well. When I met with Xi, when I was still vice president, he said we're setting up air identification zones in the South China Sea. You can't fly through them. I said we're going to fly through them. We just flew B-52, B-1 bombers through it. We're not going to pay attention. They have to play by the rules. And what's he do? He embraces guys like the thugs, like in North Korea and
What's
the
his
Chinese
name, Joe?
president and
What's
Putin
his
and
name,
others.
Joe? You don't
And
know
he
his name?
pokes
What's his
finger in the
name?
eye of all of our friends, all of our allies. We
He
make
forgot
up
Kim
only
Jong-un's
we're
name.
25% of the world's economy. We need to be having the rest of our friends with us saying to China, these are the rules. You play by them or you're going to pay the price for not paying by them economically. That's the way I will run it. And that's what we did in upholding steel tariffs and a range of other things when we were president and vice president.
All right, let's talk about North Korea.
Excuse me, no, I have to
Yes.
respond to that.
Okay, very quickly, and then
His
we're
son
going to move
walked
on
out
to
with
North
$1.5 billion
Korea.
Shut up,
from
girl!
China to
Not
manage after
true.
spending 10 minutes in office and being in Air Force Two, number one. Number two, there's a very strong email talking about your family wanting to make $10 million a year for introductions.
President Trump on China.
Oh my
policy.
gosh, he
What
keeps-
specifically are you going to do? What
No,
specifically
oh my
are you
God,
going
let
to
him
do to make
finish.
China pay. You've said
Every
you're
First of all,
time he
going to
talks
China
about
is
the
paying.
email,
They're
she
paying
gets him away
billions
from
and
him.
billions of dollars. I just gave
New
$28 billion.
sanctions? New sanctions?
No,
I
she
just
will
gave
not let
$28
him.
billion
She will
to
not let him
farmers.
expose
Taxpayers'
Biden.
money.
It's what?
Taxpayers' money didn't
No,
come
no,
from
yeah,
China.
you know who the taxpayer is? It's called China. China paid
true.
$28 billion, and you know what they did to pay it, Joe? They devalued their currency, and they also paid up. And you know who got the money? Our farmers, our great farmers, because they were targeted. You never charged them anything. Also, I charged them 25% on dumped steel because they were killing our steel industry. We were not going to have a steel industry.
Okay.
And now we have a steel
Okay,
industry.
Vice President Biden, your response, please.
My response is, look, this isn't about the there's a
Oh,
reason why
God,
he's
these
bringing up all this
people.
malarkey. There's a reason for it. He doesn't want to talk about the substantive issues. It's not about his family and my family. It's about your family. And your family's hurting badly. If you're making less than, if you're a middle-class family, you're getting hurt badly right now.
How, Joe?
You're sitting at the
How?
kitchen table this
How?
morning deciding,
How are we
well,
getting
we can't
hurt?
get new tires, they're bald because we have to wait another month or so. Or are we going to be able to pay
What?
the mortgage? Or who's going to tell her she can't go back to community college? They're the decisions you're making.
I don't go to community
Middle-class
college.
families like I grew up in Scranton and Claymont. They're in trouble. We should be talking about your families, but that's the last thing he wants to talk about.
I want
That is a
to talk
typical
about
statement.
North Korea.
Excuse me, just
I do
for
want
one
to turn
second,
to
please.
10
No,
seconds,
let
Mr.
him-
President.
let
10
him
seconds.
talk.
Political statement. Let's get off this China thing, and then he looks, the family, around the table, everything. Just a typical politician when I see that.
Let's talk
I'm
about
not
North
a typical
Korea now.
politician.
Okay,
That's why I
President
got
Trump.
elected.
Let's talk
let's
about-
get off the subject of China. Let's talk around, sitting around the table.
All right.
Come on, Joe, you can do better.
We're going to talk about North Korea now. President Trump, you've met with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un 3 times. You've talked about your beautiful
Biden
letters with
called him a
You've
thug.
touted the fact that there hasn't been a war or a long-range missile test, and yet North Korea recently rolled out its biggest ever intercontinental ballistic missile and continues to develop its nuclear arsenal. Do you see that as a betrayal of the relationship you
No.
forged? Just 30 seconds here because we need to get on to the next.
So when I met with Barack Obama, we sat in the White House right at the beginning, had a great conversation. It was supposed to be 15 minutes, and it was well over an hour. He said the biggest problem we have with North Korea. He indicated we will be in a war with North Korea. Guess what? It would be a nuclear war, and he does have plenty of nuclear capability. In the meantime, I have a very good relationship with him. Different kind of a guy, but he probably thinks the same thing about me. We have a different kind of a relationship. We have a very good relationship, and there's no war. And you know, about 2 months ago, he broke into a certain area. They said, oh, there's going to be trouble. I said, no, they're not, because he's not going to do that. And I was right. Look, instead of being in a war where millions of people, Seoul, you know, is 25 miles away, millions and millions, 32 million people in Seoul, millions of people would be dead right now.
President
We
Trump,
don't have
that's
a war,
30
and I have a
seconds.
good
Thank
relationship.
you. Vice President Biden, to you. North Korea conducted 4 nuclear tests under the Obama administration. Why do you think you would be able to rein in this persistent
Blame
threat?
Trump.
Because I'd make it
Watch
clear,
this.
which we were making clear to China, they had to be part of the deal. Because here's I made it clear, and as a spokesperson of the administration, when I went to China, that they
Uh-oh.
said, "Why
His
are you moving
medication is
your
wearing
missile
off,
defense
guys.
up so close? Why are you moving more forces here? Why are you continuing to do?"
There it go.
Military
There it go.
maneuvers
There
with
the
South
medication's
Korea.
wearing
I said
off.
because North Korea is a problem, and we're going to continue to do it so we can control them. We're going to make sure we can control them and make sure they cannot hurt us. And so if you want to do something about it, step up and help. If not, it's going to continue. What has he done? He's legitimized North Korea. He's talked about his good buddy who's a thug.
What's his
and he
name?
talks about how we're
What's his
better
name,
off.
Joe?
And they have much more capable missiles, able to reach U.S. territory much more easily than ever did before.
Let me follow up with you, Vice
He
President
doesn't
Biden.
even
You
know
said
his
you wouldn't meet
name.
with Kim Jong-un without preconditions. Are there any conditions
knows
under
it
which
now.
you would meet with him?
On the condition that he would agree that he would be drawing down his nuclear capacity to get that the Korean Peninsula should be a nuclear-free zone.
All right, let's move on to American
Kristen,
families.
they tried
Very
to
quickly,
meet with
10
him.
seconds,
They
President.
tried to meet with him. He wouldn't do it. He didn't like Obama. He didn't like him. He wouldn't do it.
Okay, I
know
gotta
for
give him a
fact they
chance to
tried.
respond to that
He
before we
wouldn't
move
do
on.
it.
You
And
know,
that's
I-
okay. You know what, North Korea, we're not in a war. We have a good relationship. You know, people don't understand. Having a good
President
relationship
Trump,
with
we have
leaders
to move
of other
on, 'cause
countries
we
is
have
a
a lot
good
of
thing.
We have a lot of questions to get
Yes,
to.
not
That's
Your
like
response.
saying we had a good relationship with Hitler before he, in fact, invaded Europe, the rest of Europe.
No, he
Come on.
didn't. Oh,
The
my
reason
God.
he would not meet with President Obama is because President
No,
Obama
he-
said, we're going to talk about denuclearization.
Oh, the
We're not going to
lies.
legitimize you, and we're
The
going to continue to put
lies.
stronger and
The
stronger sanctions
lies.
on you.
What?
That's why he wouldn't meet with us.
All right,
And
let's
it didn't
move
happen.
on. Let's
Excuse
move on
me.
to talk
He
about
left
American
me a
families.
mess, Kristen.
President Trump, okay, we do
They
need to move
left
on.
me a mess. North Korea was a mess.
We
And in
need to
fact,
move
if
on
you
so that
remember
we
the
can get
first
to all
2 or
of
3
other
months,
questions tonight,
there was a
President
very
Trump.
dangerous period in my first 3 months before we sort of worked things out a little bit.
Okay.
There was a they left us a mess. And Obama would be, I think, the first to say it was the single biggest problem he thought that our country had.
Okay, let's move on to American
Flawless
families and
victory.
the economy. One of the issues that's most important to them is health care, as you both know. Today, there was a key vote on a new Supreme Court Justice, Amy Coney Barrett, and health care is at the center of her confirmation fight. Over 20 million Americans get their health insurance through the Affordable Care Act. It's headed to the Supreme Court, and your administration, Mr. President, is advocating for the court to overturn it. If the Supreme Court does overturn that law, those 20 million Americans could lose their health insurance almost overnight. So what would you do if those people have their health insurance taken away? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Sure. First of all, I've already done something that nobody thought was possible. Through the legislature, I terminated the individual mandate. That
Yes,
is the
thank you.
worst
Thank you so much
part
for
of
that.
Obamacare.
Thank
as
you
we
so
call it.
much. I
The
appreciate
individual
that.
mandate
Save me
where you have to pay a
$3,000 a
fortune for
year.
the privilege of not having to pay for bad health insurance. I terminated. It's gone. Now it's in court because Obamacare is no good. But then I made a decision. Run it as well as you can to my people, great people. Run it as well as you can. I could have gone the other route and made everybody very unhappy. They ran it. Premiums are down. Everything's down. Here's the problem. No matter how well you run it, it's no good. What we'd like to do is terminate it. We have the individual mandate done. I don't know that it's going to work. If we don't win, we will have to run it, and we'll have Obamacare, but it'll be better run. But it no longer is Obamacare, because without the individual mandate, it's much different. Pre-existing conditions will always stay. What I would like to do is a much better health care, much better, will always protect people with pre-existing. So I'd like to terminate Obamacare, come up with a brand new, beautiful health care. The Democrats will do it because there'll be tremendous pressure on them, and we might even have the House by that time, and I think we're going to win the House, okay? We'll see, but I think we're going to win the House. But come up with a better health care, always protecting people with pre-existing conditions. And one thing very important, we have 180 million people out there that have great private health care. Far more than we're talking about with Obamacare. Joe Biden is going to terminate all of those policies. These are people that love their health care, people that have been successful, middle-income people, been successful. They have 180 million plans, 180 million people, families, under what he wants to do, which will basically be socialized medicine. He won't even have a choice. They want to terminate 180 million plans. We have done an incredible job on health care. And we're going to do even better.
Okay.
Oh, he cut off his
Biden,
mic.
yes, this is for you. Your
They
health
cut
care
off
plan
his
calls
mic.
for building on Obamacare. So my question is, what is your plan if the law is ruled unconstitutional by the Supreme Court? You have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
What I'm going to do is pass Obamacare with a public option.
Let's see if they cut
Because
off
why
Joe's
the
mic.
Public option is an option that says that if you, in fact, do not have the wherewithal to be, if you qualify for Medicaid and you do not have the wherewithal in your state to get Medicaid, you automatically are enrolled, providing competition for insurance companies. That's what's going to happen. Secondly, we're going to make sure we reduce the premiums and reduce drug prices by making sure that there's competition that doesn't exist now by allowing the Medicare to negotiate drug prices with the insurance companies. Thirdly, the idea that I want to
Check your
eliminate
notes,
private
Joe.
insurance, the reason why I had such a fight with 20 candidates for the nomination was I support private insurance. That's why I didn't. Not one single person with private
Look at him
insurance
looking at his
would
notes.
lose their insurance under my plan, nor did they under Obamacare. They did not lose their insurance unless they chose they wanted to go to something else. Lastly, we're going to make sure we're in a situation that we actually protect pre-existing. There's no way he can protect pre-existing conditions. None, zero. You can't do it in the ether. He's been talking about this for a long time. He's never come up with a plan. I guess we're going to get the pre-existing condition plan the same time we get the infrastructure plan that we've been waiting since 17, 18, 19, and 20. The fact, I still have a few more minutes. I know you're getting anxious.
Yeah, because we want to see if your mic will get cut off.
He's already cost the American people, because of his terrible handling of the COVID virus and the economic spillover, 10 million people have lost their private insurance. And he wants to take away
Okay, time's up.
22 million
Cut off
more
his
people
mic.
having under Obamacare, and over 110 million people with pre-existing conditions, and all the people from
His
COVID
mic
are
is
going to have
still
pre-existing
on.
conditions. What are they going to do?
I
They
have a
didn't
follow-up
cut
to you,
off
Vice
his
President
mic.
Biden. It
Look at
relates
this.
to
You see
something
this?
that
You see
President
what they
Trump
just
said.
did?
He's accusing you of wanting socialized medicine. What do you say to people who have concerns that your health care plan, which includes a government insurance option, takes the country one step closer to a health care system run entirely by the government? What's
I
your
say
response
it's
to them?
ridiculous. It's like saying that, we're, the idea that the fact that there's a public option that people can choose, that makes it a socialist plan. Look, the difference between the president, I think health care is not a privilege, it's a right. Everyone should have the right to have affordable health care. And I am very proud of my plan. It's gotten endorsed by all the major labor unions as well as a whole range of other people who in fact are concerned in the medical field. This is something that's going to save people's lives, and this is going to give some people an opportunity to have health care for their children. How many of you home are worried and rolling around in bed tonight wondering what in God's name you're going to do if you get sick? Because you've
not
lost
me.
your home insurance, your health insurance, your company's gone under. We have to provide health insurance for people.
Who the hell
at an
is Joe
affordable rate.
talking
That's what I
to?
do.
President Trump,
Excuse me, he was
your
there
response.
for 47 years. He didn't do it. He was now there as vice president for 8 years, and it's not like it was 25 years ago. It was 3 3/4. It was just a little while ago, right? Less than 4 years ago. He didn't do anything. He didn't do it. He wants socialized medicine, and it's not that he wants it. His vice president, I mean, she is more liberal than Bernie Sanders and wants it even more. Bernie Sanders wants it. The Democrats want it. You're going to have socialized medicine, just like he went with fracking. We're not going to have fracking. We're going to stop fracking. We're going to stop fracking. Then he goes to Pennsylvania after he gets a nomination, where he got very lucky to get it. And he goes to Pennsylvania, and he says, oh, we're going to have fracking. And you never asked that question. And by the way, so far, I respect very much the way you're handling this. I have to say.
I
But
don't.
somebody
I
should
don't.
ask the question.
You can ask
He goes for a year. There will be
We
no
have
fracking. There will be no petroleum.
we have a number of topics we're
No,
going to
but
get
that's a
to.
big- that's a big question.
We're going to get to. We're going to get to. a
It's the
number
same
of
thing with
topics.
socialized
I have to
medicine.
respond.
Vice President, your response, please.
My response is people deserve to have affordable health care, period. Period, period, period. And the Biden care proposal will, in fact, provide for that affordable health care, lower premiums. What we're going to do is going to cost some money. It's going to cost over $750 billion over 10
In other words,
years to
raise
do
our
it.
taxes,
And
right,
we're going
Joe?
to have lower premiums. You can buy into the better plans, the cheaper plans, lower your premiums, deal with unexpected billing, and have your drug prices drop significantly. He keeps talking about it. He hasn't done a thing for anybody on health care. Not a thing.
Kristen, when
Very
he
quickly,
says,
then I want to talk
when
about
he
what's
says
happening on
public
Capitol
option,
Hill.
he's talking about socialized medicine.
Yep.
And when he and healthcare. When he talks about a public option, he's talking about destroying your Medicare, totally destroying, and destroying your Social Security. And this whole country will come down. You know, Bernie Sanders tried it in his state. He tried it in his
And
state.
it failed.
His governor was a very liberal governor. They wanted to make it work.
Okay,
It
let's let
was
Vice President
impossible
Biden
to
It was
work.
a
It doesn't work.
disaster.
He's
Biden,
a very
your response.
confused guy. He thinks he's running against somebody else.
Oh,
He's
my
running
God.
against
You
Joe
gonna call him
Biden.
projection-
I beat all those other
projection.
people because I disagreed with them. Joe Biden he's running against. And the idea that we're in a situation that they're going to destroy Medicare, this is the guy that the actuary at Medicare said, if in fact, at Social Security, if in fact he continues to withhold his plan to withhold the tax on Social Security will be bankrupt by 2023 with no way to make up for it. This is the guy who's tried to cut Medicare.
Look how long she's letting him talk,
the
y'all.
idea that
Do you
Donald
see this
Trump is
favoritism?
lecturing me on Social Security and Medicare? Come on.
He tried to get
10
rid of.
seconds,
He
Mr.
tried to hurt
President, and then I
Social
have to go to
Security
another
years
question.
ago. Years ago. Go back and look at the records. He tried to hurt Social Security years ago.
All
One
right,
thing,
let's move
but
on.
this
Oh,
is
my
the guy
God,
that
he
when
hasn't
you
even
never-
President, I have to
finished.
move on to the next question.
They said
or
the
else
stock
we're not
market
going to have
will
time to
boom
talk about it.
if I'm elected. If he's elected, the stock market will crash.
Okay, let's
biggest
move on to the
analysts are
next
saying
question
Let me respond.
very quickly.
Look, the idea that the
Look how
stock
long
market
she
is
let him
booming
talk.
is his only measure of what's happening.
Oh,
Where
this
I come
is
from
so
in Scranton and Claremont,
crazy.
the people don't live off of the stock
Cut him
market.
off now.
Just
Cut him
in
off
the-
now. Go
just
ahead,
in
cut
the
him off now,
last
girl.
3 years
Cut
during
him
this
off
crisis.
now. You would be cutting off Trump right
the
now.
billionaires
Cut
in
him
this
off.
country made, according to the Wall
She,
Street,
if this was Trump talking, she would be cutting him off right now.
$700 billion more dollars, because that's his only measure. What happens
Look
to
how
the
long
ordinary
she's letting
people out there?
Biden talk,
What
y'all.
happens to them?
Let's talk about what's happening on Capitol Hill. We're going to
Kristen,
move on, gentlemen.
401ks are through the roof.
We're gonna
People's
move on.
stock are through the roof.
All
And
right.
he doesn't come from Scranton. That's like he lived there for a short period of time before he even knew it.
We're going to move on to
and
the
he
next
left.
question.
And the people of Pennsylvania
Let me
will
move
show
on
you
to my
that.
next question,
They
gentlemen.
understand.
As of tonight, more than 12 million people are out of work. And as of tonight, 8 million more Americans have fallen into poverty, and more families are going hungry every day. Those hit hardest are women and people of color. They see Washington fighting over a relief bill. Mr. President, why haven't you been able to get them the help they need?
Nasty
30 seconds here.
Pelosi.
Because Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve it. I do.
But you're the president.
I do, but I still have to get. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons I think we're going to take over the House because of her. Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to approve anything because she'd love to have some victories on a date called November 3rd. Nancy Pelosi does not want to approve it. We are ready, willing, and able to do something. Don't forget, we've already approved 3 plans, and it's gone through, including the Democrats, in all fairness. This one she doesn't want. It's near the election because she thinks it helps her politically. I think it hurts her politically.
All right, Mr. Vice President,
You know, the Republican leader in the United States Senate said he can't pass it. He will not be able to pass it. He does not have Republican votes. Why isn't he talking to his Republican friends?
let me follow up with you, Vice President
we made a
Biden,
deal, the
because
Republicans
let me
will
ask
pass
Vice
it.
President Biden a question. You are the leader of the Democratic Party. Why have you not pushed the Democrats to get a deal for the American people?
Well, I have, and they have pushed it. Look, they passed this act
No, they
all the way back
didn't.
in the beginning of the summer. This is like it's not new. It's been out there. This HEROES Act has been sitting there. And look at what's happening. When I was in charge of the Recovery Act with $800 billion, I was able to get $145 billion to local communities that have to balance their budgets and states that have to balance their budgets, so then have to fire firefighters, teachers, first responders, law enforcement officers, so they could keep their cities and counties running. He will not support that. They have not done a thing for them. And Mitch McConnell said, let them go bankrupt. Let them go bankrupt. Come on. What's the matter with
The
these
bill that was
guys?
passed in the House was a bailout of badly run, high-crime, Democrat, all run by Democrats, cities and states. It was a way of getting a lot of money, billions and billions of dollars to these states. It was also a way of getting a lot of money from our people's pockets to people that come into our country illegally.
Yep.
We were going to take care of everything for them. And what that does, and I'd love to do that, I'd love to help them, but what that does,
No, you
everybody all
don't.
over the
No,
world
we
will
don't
start
wanna help
pouring into
them.
our country. We can't do it. This was a way of taking care of them. This was a way of spending on things that had nothing to do with COVID, as per your question. But it was really a big bailout for badly run Democrat cities and states.
All right,
By the
I
way,
wanna-
if I get elected, I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I'm going to be an American president. I don't see red states and blue states. What I see is American, United States. And folks, every single state out there finds themselves in trouble. They're going to start laying off, whether they're red or blue, cops, firefighters, first responders, because teachers, because they have to balance their budget. And the founders were smart. They allowed the federal government to deficit spend to compensate for the United States of America.
I want to talk about the minimum wage, gentlemen. Mr. Vice President, we are talking a lot about struggling small businesses
Yes.
and business owners these days. Do you think this is the right time to ask them to raise the minimum wage? You, of course, support a $15 federal minimum wage.
I do, because I think one of the things we're going to have to do is we're going to have to bail them out, too. We should be bailing
Everybody
them
gets
out
free
now,
money
those
underneath the
small
Democrats.
businesses. You got 1 in 6 of them going under. They're not going to be able to make it back. They passed a package that allows us to be able to call PPP. Money is supposed to go to help them do everything from organize how they can deal with their businesses being open safely. Schools, how they can make classrooms smaller, how they can hire more teachers, how they can put ventilation systems in. They need the help. The businesses as well as the schools need the help. But these guys will not help them. Is not giving them any of the money.
We are going to move on to
Excuse me,
immigration,
one thing very
but I
quickly,
want
he
to
said
get
we
you
have to
back.
help our small
Let him
businesses
talk.
by
Help us.
raising the minimum wage. That's not helping. I think it should be a state option. Alabama is different than New York.
Yes.
New York is different
Yes.
from Vermont.
There you go,
Every
Trump.
state is different.
There
it should
you
be
go.
A state option.
You said very
we have
recently-
to help. It's very important. We have to
He's
help our
debating
small
two people
businesses.
again.
How are you helping your small businesses when you're forcing wages? What's going to happen, and what's been proven to happen, is when you do that, these small businesses fire many of their employees.
You said
Yes.
recently you would
by the way.
consider
That
raising
is
the federal
true.
minimum wage
That
to
is true.
$15
Say
an
it.
hour. You said recently you would consider raising the federal minimum wage to
What I
$15 an hour.
really
Is that
like,
still the case?
And I would consider it to an extent, but
In a
what I
second
really
administration?
like, in a second administration, but not to a level that's going to put all these businesses out of business. It should be a state option. Look, I've lived in different places. I know different places. They're all different. Some places, $15 is not so bad. In other places, other states, $15 would
Okay,
be
President
ruinous.
Trump, thank you. Quick response, Vice President Biden.
2 jobs, 1 job, be below poverty. People are making $6, $7, $8 an hour. These first responders, we all clap for as they come down the street because they've allowed us to make it. What's happening? They deserve a minimum wage of $15. Anything below that puts you below the poverty
First
level.
responders
And
don't
there is
get paid no
evidence that
minimum
when you raise
wage.
the minimum wage,
What the hell is he
businesses go
talking
out
about?
of business. That is simply not
What
true.
the
We're going to talk
hell
about
is-
immigration. We're going to talk about immigration now, gentlemen, and we're going to talk about families within this context.
get paid
Mr.
a
President,
salary.
your administration separated children from their parents at the border, at least 4,000 kids. You've since reversed your zero-tolerance policy, but the United States can't locate the parents of more than 500 children. So how will these families ever be reunited?
Children are brought here by coyotes
Yep.
and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here, and they used to use them to get into our country. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400 miles of brand-new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people in, but they have to come in legally, and they come in through
But
merit.
how will you
But
reunite
let me
these
just tell
kids
you,
with their
Let me
families,
just tell you,
Mr.
they
President?
built cages. You know, they used to say, I built the cages, and then they had a picture in a certain newspaper, and it was a picture of these horrible cages, and they said, look at these cages. President Trump built them, and then it was determined they were built in 2014. That was him.
Do you
They
have a
built
plan to
cages.
reunite the kids?
Yes,
with
we're
their
working on it we're trying very hard. But a lot of these kids come out without the parents. They come over
Did
through
you notice she
cartels and
saved
through
Biden
coyotes
again?
and through gangs.
Vice President Biden, let me bring you into this
Notice
conversation.
when she's talking
Quick
about the
response and
cage,
then
she
another
just-
question to you.
These
Save
500
Biden.
plus kids came with parents.
They were still
separated
locked
them
up
at
in
the
cages,
border
Joe.
to make it a disincentive to come to begin with. Bay, real tough. We're really strong. And guess what? They cannot. It's not coyotes didn't bring them over.
Yes, they
Their
did.
Parents.
No,
were
they
with them.
did.
They got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughing stock
Lies.
and violates
Lies.
every notion of who we are
lies,
as a nation.
Lies.
Let me ask you a follow-up
Kristen,
question.
they did it. We changed the policy.
Your response
they
to that?
did it. We changed.
did not
They built the
separate
cages.
they-
Who built the cages, Joe?
Let's talk about what
Who
we're
built the
talking about.
cages,
Let's
Joe?
talk about what we're talking about. What happened? Parents were ripped, their kids were ripped from their
Ask
arms
again,
and
Trump.
separated.
Who built the cages?
And now they cannot find over 500 of sets of those parents, and those kids
Ask
are
again,
alone.
Trump. Ask again.
Nowhere to go. Nowhere
Ask
to go.
again.
It's criminal. It's criminal.
Let me ask
Kristen,
you
I will
about
say this.
immigration.
They went
10
down.
seconds,
We
and
brought
then I need to ask
reporters,
you a question.
everything. They are so well taken care of. They're in facilities that were so clean.
But some
and
of
have
them
gotten
haven't been
such
reunited
But
with their
just ask
families.
one question. Who built the cages? I'd love you to ask them that. Who built the cages?
Let me ask about your immigration policy. Vice President. The Obama administration did fail to deliver
my
immigration
God!
reform, which had been a key promise
keeps
during the
saving
administration.
Joe!
It also presided over record deportations as well as family detentions
She
at the
won't
border
let him
before
ask the
changing
question. Oh,
course.
my God.
So why should voters
Oh,
trust you with
hell!
the immigration overhaul now?
Because we made a mistake. It took too long to get it right. It took too long to get it right. I'll be president of the United States, not vice president of the United States. And the fact is, I've made it very clear. Within 100 days, I'm going to send to the United States Congress a pathway to citizenship for over 11 million undocumented people.
Oh,
and
hell
all
no.
of those so-called dreamers, those DACA kids, they're going to be immediately certified again to be able to stay in this country and put on a path to citizenship. The idea that they are being sent home by this guy, and they want to do that, is they've gone to a country they've never seen before. I can imagine you're 5 years old, your parents are
They
taking
got
you across
relatives in those countries.
the Rio Grande River, and it's illegal. And you say, oh, no, Mom, leave me here. I'm not going to go with you. They've been here. Many of them are model citizens. Over 20,000 of them are first responders out there taking care of people during this crisis. We owe them. We owe them.
I can't believe she
First
allowed
time
him
he
to
had
dodge that
8
question.
years to do what he said he was going to do. And I've
We
changed
did.
without having a specific. We got rid of catch and release. We got rid of a lot of horrible things that they put in and that they lived with. But he had 8 years he was vice president. He did nothing except build cages to keep children in.
Vice President
Wrong.
Biden, your response.
The catch and release, you know what he's talking about there? If in fact you had a family came across and they were arrested, they in fact were given a date to show up for their hearing. They were released, and guess what? They showed up.
No, they
for a hearing.
didn't.
And
No,
this is the
they
first
didn't. This is
president in
a
the history of the United
lie.
States of America that
No, they
anybody
didn't. They get
seeking
lost into the
asylum
system.
has to do it in another country.
Oh,
That's never happened
Trump,
before in
get him,
America.
Get him, Trump.
That's
get
never
him.
happened before in America.
Get him,
You
Trump.
come to the United States and you make your case that I seek asylum based on the following premise: why I deserve it under American law. They're sitting in squalor on the other side of the river.
Where's the fact checking here?
President Trump, your response.
So
30
important.
seconds, and then we'll move
It
on.
just shows that he has no understanding of immigration or the laws. Catch and release is a disaster. A murderer would come in, a rapist would come in, a very bad person would come in. We would take their name. We have to release them into our country. Yep. And then you say they come back. Less than 1% of the people come back. We have to
There you
send
go,
ICE
Trump.
out
Woo!
and Border Patrol out to find them. We would say, come back in 2 years, 3 years. We're going to give you a court case. You need Perry Mason. We're going to give you a court case. When you say they come back, they don't come back,
They
Joe.
don't
They
come
never
back.
come
Stop
back.
lying,
Only
Joe.
the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay,
But they're
President, let's give Vice President Biden a chance to respond, and then we're going to move on to the
You
next
don't know the law, Jim.
Vice President Biden, your response.
No, the law was telling me it's simply not true.
Well, check it out. They don't come back.
Check it out.
All right, let's move on.
But we don't have to
the
worry
next
about it because they
section.
terminated it. So we don't have to worry about it.
Let's move
anymore.
on to the next
And you have
section.
525 kids not knowing where in God's name they're going to be in Austin.
All right, let's talk about our next
Oh,
section,
they're
which
gonna
is
pay- they're
race
gonna make
in
them pay
America.
for that one.
And I want to talk
They're gonna
about
make
the
them
way
pay for
Black
that one,
and
y'all.
brown Americans experience race in this country. Part of that experience is something called the talk. It happens regardless of class and income. Parents who feel they have no choice but to prepare their children for the chance that they could be targeted, including by the police, for no reason other than the color of their skin. Mr. Vice President, in the next 2 minutes, I want you to speak directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
I do. I do. You know, my daughter is a social worker, and she's written a lot about this. Has a graduate degree from the University of Pennsylvania. in
Y'all,
social
we ain't gonna hear the end of the
And you
low
know,
IQ part. Watch. The
One of the
fucking
reasons
Democrats
why I
are
ended
losing
up
their
working
shit
on the east side
right
of
now with
Wilmington,
that low
Delaware, which
IQ
is
comment.
90% African American, was to learn more about what was going on. What I never had to tell my daughter, if she's pulled over, make sure she puts, for a traffic stop, put both hands on top of the wheel and don't reach for the glove box because someone may shoot you. But a black parent, no matter how wealthy or how poor they are, has to teach their child when you're walking
Lies.
down the street.
Lies.
Have a hoodie on when you go across the street.
Oh my
Making sure
God.
that you, in fact, if you get pulled over, yes, sir, no, sir, hands on top of the wheel, because you are, in fact, the victim, whether you're a person making child of a $300,000 a year person, or someone who's on.
Fuck you, Joe. I'm not
food
no
stamps.
daggone
The
victim.
fact
I
of the
obey the
matter is,
law
there
and
is
respect police.
Institutional racism in America, and we have always said. We've never lived up to it, that we hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women are created equal. Well, guess what? We have never, ever lived up to it, but we've always constantly been moving the needle further and further.
Look at this
to
racist.
inclusion,
Look at
not
the
exclusion.
racist.
This is the first president to come along and says, that's the end of that. We're not going to do that anymore.
Robert
We have
Byrd
to
taught
provide
you
for
well,
economic
Joe.
opportunity, better education, better health care, better access to schooling, better access to opportunity to borrow money to start businesses. All the things we can do, and I've laid out a clear plan as to how to do those things, just to give people a shot. It's about accumulating the ability to have wealth as well as it is to be free from violence.
President Trump, same
No
question
mic
to you.
cut
And
off,
let me
by the way.
remind you of the question. I would like you to speak directly to these families. Do you understand why these parents fear for their children?
I know
Yes,
they
I
don't
do.
fear for their kids
And
unless they're
again,
criminals.
He's been in government 47 years. He never did a thing except in 1994 when he did such harm to the black community. And they were called, and he called them super predators. And he said that. He said it, super predators. And they have never lived that down. 1994, your crime bill, the super predators. Nobody has done more for the black community than Donald Trump. And if you look, with the exception of Abraham Lincoln, possible exception, but the exception of Abraham Lincoln, nobody has done what I've done. Criminal justice reform, Obama and Joe didn't do it. I don't even think they tried because they had no chance at doing it. They might have wanted to do it, but if you had to see the arms I had to twist to get that done, it was not a pretty picture, and everybody knows it, including some very liberal people that cried in my office. They cried in the Oval Office. 2 weeks later, they're out saying, gee, we have to defeat him. Criminal justice reform, prison reform, opportunity zones with Tim Scott, a great senator from South Carolina. He came in with this incredible idea for opportunity zones. It's one of the most successful programs. People don't talk about it. Tremendous investment is being made. Biggest beneficiary, the black and Hispanic communities, and then historically black colleges and universities. After 3 years of coming to the office, I love some of those guys. They were great. They came into the office and they said, I said, what are you doing? After 3 years, I said, why do you keep coming back? Because we have no funding. I said, you don't have to come back every year. We have to come back because President Obama would never give them long-term funding, and I did. 10-year long-term funding, and I gave them more money than they asked for because they said, I think you need more. And I said, the only bad part about this is I may never see you again because I got very friendly with them, and they like me and I like them. But I saved it.
Flawless victory.
Okay, and we're going to talk about both of your records, but your response to that, Vice President?
My response to that is I never, ever said what he accused me of saying.
What was
the
that,
fact
Joe?
of the matter is, in 2000, though, after the crime bill had been in the law for a while, this is the guy who said, the problem with the crime bill, there's not enough people in jail. There's not enough people
But
in
you
jail.
call black
And
people
go
predators.
on my website, get the quote, the date when he said it. Not enough people.
You
He
call
talked
black people
about
predators.
marauding gangs, young gangs, and the people who are going to maraud our cities. This is a guy who in the Central Park five innocent black kids, he continued to push for making sure that they got the death penalty. None of them were guilty of what the crime.
I can't help you on that with Trump.
Look, and talk about granted, he did in fact let 20 people, he commuted 20 people's sentences. We commuted over 1,000 people's sentences. Over 1,000. The very law he's talking about is a law that, in fact, initiated by Barack Obama. And secondly, we're in a situation here where the federal prison system was reduced
they
by
were not guilty. They
38,000
were
people
innocent.
under our administration. And one of these things we should be doing, there should be no minimum mandatories in the law. That's why I'm offering $20 billion to states to change their state laws to eliminate minimum mandatories and set up drug courts. No one should be going to jail.
Yeah, Biden
because
called
they have a drug
non-white kids
problem.
poorer
They should be going to
kids.
rehabilitation, not to jail. We should fundamentally change the system, and that's what I'm going to do.
But why didn't he do it 4 years ago? Why didn't you do that 4 years ago, even less than that? Why didn't you do it? You were vice president. You keep talking about all these things you're going to do, and you're going to do this. But you were there just a short time ago, and you guys did nothing.
We did.
You know, Joe, I ran because of you. I ran because of Barack Obama, because you did a poor job. If I thought you did a good job, I would have never run. I would have never run. I ran because of you. I'm looking at you now. You're a politician. I ran because of you.
All right, Vice President Biden, your response to that, and then I do have some questions for both of you.
Well, I tell you what, I hope he does look at me, because what's happening here is, you know who I am, you know who he is, you know his character, you know my character, you know our reputations for honor and telling the truth.
What?
I am anxious to have this race. I am anxious to see this take place. The character of the country is on the ballot. Our character is on the ballot. Look at us closely.
Let me ask some follow-up.
Excuse me.
Please respond, and then we're going to have follow-up
If this stuff is
questions.
true about Russia, Ukraine, China, other countries, Iraq, if this is true, then he's a corrupt politician.
All right.
So don't give me the stuff about how you're this innocent baby. Joe, they're calling you a corrupt politician.
President
The
Trump, I
laptop
want to
from
stay
hell.
on the issue of race. We're talking
Look at
about
the
the issue.
laptop from hell.
President Trump, we're
Nobody.
talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
And I
you've
have to
just
respond to that.
Please,
Because look,
very
there
quickly.
are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant. They have said that this has all the five former heads of the CIA, both parties, say what he's saying is a bunch of garbage. Nobody believes it except his and his good friend Rudy Giuliani.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
And
You
that's
gotta be-
exactly what.
Is this
that's
where you're
exactly
going?
what.
This
was
is
told.
where he's going. The
All right.
laptop is Russia,
Yes.
Gentlemen,
Russia.
I want to stay on the issue of race.
You
okay?
have to be kidding. Here we
Mr.
go
President,
again with Russia.
We're going to continue
Boy,
on the issue of race. Mr. President,
believe
you've
that one.
described the Black Lives Matter movement as a
Oh,
symbol of
no!
You've shared a video of a man chanting white power to millions of your supporters. You've said that black
Not
professional
Black Lives
athletes
Matter.
exercising their First Amendment rights should be fired. What do you say to Americans who say that kind of language from a president is contributing to a climate of hate and racial strife?
Well, you have to understand, the first time I ever heard of Black Lives Matter, they were chanting pigs in a blanket, talking about police. Pigs, talking about our police. Pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. Yep. I said, that's a horrible thing. And they were marching down the street. And that was my first glimpse of Black Lives Matter. I thought it was a terrible thing. As far as my relationships with all people, I think I have great relationships with all people. Yep. I am the least racist person in this room.
Well, what do you say to Americans who are concerned
True,
about that?
true,
I don't know.
actually.
I mean, I
That's
don't know what to
actually
say.
factually
I got criminal
true.
justice reform done, and prison reform, and opportunity zones. I took care of black
Joe
colleges
Biden was
and
mentored to
universities.
a Klansman.
I don't know what to say. They can say anything. I mean, they can say anything. It makes me sad.
Ask him about
because
Robert
I
Byrd,
am-
Trump.
I am the least racist person. I can't even see the audience because it's so dark. But I don't care who's in the audience. I'm the least racist person in this room.
Okay, Vice President Biden, let me
Abraham.
ask you very quickly, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
Abraham Lincoln here is one of the most racist presidents we've had in modern history.
Robert
He
Byrd
pours
was your
fuel on
mentor.
every
You went to his
single
funeral
Racist fire.
and
Every
cried.
single one. Started off his campaign coming down the escalator saying he's going to get rid of those Mexican rapists.
Oh, please
He's
bring up
banned
Robert
Muslims
Byrd.
because they're
Please bring up
Muslims.
Robert Byrd,
He's
Trump.
moved around and made everything worse across the board. He says about the poor boys. Last time we were on
Poor
stage here, he said,
boys?
I told him to stand
He called the
down
Proud Boys
and
the poor
stand ready.
boys.
Come on. This guy is a dog whistle about as big as a foghorn.
President Trump, I'm going to give you 10 seconds to respond, and then I have a
No,
follow-up question.
he made a reference to Abraham Lincoln. Where did that come in? I mean,
You said
where
you're
did that-
Abraham
No,
Lincoln.
where did that? No.
You said-
I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community.
And I'm
I didn't
saying-
say I'm Abraham Lincoln. I said not since Abraham Lincoln has anybody done what I've done for the black community. Now, you have done nothing other than the crime bill, which put
Oh, God.
tens of thousands of black men, mostly, in jail.
All right, let me-
And you know
let me
what?
a- let me
they
ask
remember
Vice
it
President
because if you
Biden
look
a
at what's
question.
happening with the voting right now,
Let me ask
they
Vice
remember
President
that
Biden
you treated them
about-
very, very badly. Just
the-
take a look at what's happening out there.
Vice President Biden, let me give you a chance to respond within this context. Crime bills that you supported in the 80s and 90s contributed to the incarceration of tens of thousands of young black men who had small amounts of drugs in their possession. They are sons, they are brothers, they're fathers, they're uncles, whose families are still to this day, some of them suffering the consequences.
Oh, I can't believe
so
she's
speak to
asking
those
this.
families. Why should they vote for you?
One of the things is that in the 80s, we passed 100%, all 100 senators voted for it, a bill on drugs and how to deal with drugs. It was a mistake. I've been trying to change this since then, particularly the portion on cocaine. That's why I've been arguing that, in fact, we should not send anyone to jail for
I
a
disagree
pure
with that.
drug offense. They should be going into treatment
No,
across
jail.
the board. That's what we should be spending money on. That's why I set up drug courts, which were never funded by our Republican friends. They should not be going to jail for a drug or an alcohol problem. They should be going into treatment. Treatment. That's what we've been
It was
trying to
more
do.
than just
That's what I'm going
drugs,
to get
Joe.
done because I think The American people have now seen that, in fact, it was a mistake to pass those laws relating to the drug, but they were not in the crime bill.
But why didn't he get it done? See, it's all talk, no action with these politicians. Why didn't he get it done? That's what I'm going to do when I become president. You were vice president along with Obama as your president, your leader, for 8 years. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years to get it done. Now you're saying you're going to get it done because you're all talk and no action, Jim.
We got a lot of it done. We released 38,000. We got 38,000 prisoners left from the.
You got nothing done.
38,000 prisoners were released from federal prison. There were over 1,000 people who were given clemency. In fact, we're the ones that put in the legislation saying we could look at pattern and practice of police departments and what they were doing, how they were conducting themselves. I could go on, but we began the process. We lost an election. That's why I'm running to win back that election and change his terrible policy.
I just asked one
to
question.
change.
Why didn't you do it in the 8 years, a short time ago? Why didn't you do it? You just said, I'm going to do that.
She's not going to let him
do this.
answer. She's going to save him.
Tens
Watch.
of thousands of mostly black young men in prison. Now you're saying you're going to undo that. Why didn't you get it done? You had 8 years with Obama. You know why, Joe? Because you're all talk and no action.
All right, Vice President Biden, then we're going to move on to the next section.
Told you.
Republican Congress.
What?
That's the answer.
Well, you
Okay.
got to talk them into it, Joe.
All
Sometimes
right.
you got to talk them into it.
We're going to move on to our next section,
Like I
which
did
is
with criminal
climate
justice
change.
reform. I had
Okay.
to talk Democrats into it.
Gentlemen,
You did what we
we're running out of
already
time,
done.
so we got to get on to
Okay.
climate change, please. You
Oh,
both have
no,
very
not
different
climate
visions on
change.
climate change. President Trump, you say that environmental regulations have hurt jobs in the energy sector. Vice President Biden, you have said you see addressing climate change as an opportunity to create new jobs. For each of you, how would you both combat climate change and support job growth at the same time? Starting with you, President Trump, you have 2 minutes uninterrupted.
So we have the Trillion Trees program. We have so many different programs. I do love the environment, but what I want is the cleanest, crystal clear water, the cleanest air. We have the best, lowest number in carbon emissions, which is a big standard that I notice Obama goes with all the time. Not Joe. I haven't heard Joe use the term because I'm not sure he knows what it represents or means, but I have heard Obama use it. And we have the best carbon emission numbers that we've had in 35 years under this administration. We are working so well with industry, but here's what we can't do. Look at China, how filthy it is. Look at Russia. Look at India. It's filthy. The air is filthy. The Paris Accord, I took us out because we were going to have to spend trillions of dollars, and we were treated very unfairly. When they put us in there, they did us a great disservice. They were going to take away our businesses. I will not sacrifice tens of millions of jobs, thousands and thousands of companies because of the Paris Accord. It was so unfair. China doesn't kick in until 2030. Russia goes back to a low standard, and we kicked in right away. It would have destroyed our businesses. So, you ready? We have done an incredible job environmentally. We have the cleanest air, the cleanest water, and the best carbon emission standards that we've seen in many, many years.
Vice President
And we
Biden.
haven't destroyed our industries.
Vice President Biden, 2 minutes to you, uninterrupted.
Climate change and climate warming, global warming, is an existential threat to humanity.
Medication
We have
wearing
a
off.
moral obligation to do it. And we're told by all the leading scientists in the world we don't have much time. We're going to pass the point of no return within the next 8 to 10 years. 4 more years of this man eliminating all the regulations that were put in by us to clean up the climate, to limit emissions
All the medications
will put us
wearing
in a
off.
position where we're going to be in real trouble. Here's where we have a great opportunity. I was able to get both all the environmental organizations as well as labor, the people worried about jobs, to support my climate plan.
He is
because what it
struggling.
does, it will create millions of new good-paying jobs. We're going to invest in, for example, 500,000 50,000 charging stations on our highways so that we can own the electric car market of the future. In the meantime, China is doing that. We're going to be in a position where we're going to see to it that we're going to take 4 million existing buildings and 2 million existing homes and retrofit them so they don't leak as much energy, saving hundreds of millions of barrels of oil in the process and creating significant number of jobs. And by the way, the whole idea of what this is all going to do, it's going to create millions of jobs. And it's going to clean the environment. Our health and our jobs are at stake. That's what's happening. And what right now, by the way, Wall Street firms indicated that my plan will in fact create 18.6 million jobs, 7 million more than his. This is from Wall Street. And I'll create $1 trillion more in economic growth than his proposal does. Not on climate, just on the economy.
No,
President Trump, you're
They came out and said very strongly, $6,500 will be taken away from families under his plan, that his plan is an economic disaster. If you look at what he wants to do, if you look at his plan, his environmental plan, you know who developed it? AOC +3. They know nothing about the climate. I mean, she's got a good line of stuff, but she knows nothing about the climate. And they're all hopping through hoops for AOC +3. Look,
AOC
their
+3?
real plan is $100 trillion. If we had the best year in the history of our country for 100 years, we would not even come close to a number like that. When he says buildings, they want to take buildings down because I want to make bigger windows into smaller windows. As far as they're concerned, if you had no window, it would be a lovely thing. This is the craziest plan that anybody has ever seen. And this wasn't done by smart people. This wasn't done by anybody. Frankly, I don't even know how it can be good politically. They want to spend $100 trillion. That's their real number. He's trying to say it was 6. It's $100 trillion.
Let Biden
They want to
just
knock
talk.
down buildings and build new buildings with little, tiny, small
Uninterrupted.
windows. I mean, and many other things.
Okay.
And many other things.
Let me have the Vice President
It
respond,
is
and we're running out of
crazy.
time, and we have a lot
And
more
you'll
questions to
destroy
get
our
to.
country.
So let's hear from the Vice President. I have a number more questions.
I don't know where he comes from. I don't know where he comes up with these numbers.
Queens.
$100 trillion. Give me a break. This plan was endorsed by every major environmental group and every labor group. Labor. Because they know the future lies. The future lies in us being able to breathe, and they know there are good jobs in getting us there. And by the way, the fastest growing industry in America is the solar energy and wind. He thinks wind causes cancer, windmills. It's the fastest growing jobs, and they pay good prevailing wages, $45, $50 an hour. We can grow and we can be cleaner if we go the route I'm proposing.
President Trump,
Excuse me.
please
We are
respond, and then I have some
We are
follow-up.
energy independent for the first time. We don't need all of these countries that we had to fight war over because we needed their energy. We are energy independent. I know more about wind than you do. It's extremely expensive, kills all the birds. It's very intermittent.
Actually, that's
got a lot
true.
of problems, and they happen to make the windmills in both Germany and China. And the fumes coming up, if you're a believer in carbon emission, the fumes coming up to make these massive windmills is more than anything that we're talking about with natural gas, which is very clean. One other thing. Solar.
Said that.
I love solar, but solar doesn't quite have it yet. It's not powerful yet to really run our big, beautiful factories that we need to compete with the world. So
False.
It's all a pipe dream. But you know what we'll do? We're going to have the greatest economy in the world. But if you want to kill the economy, get rid of your oil industry. You want, and what about fracking?
All right,
now,
let me let me allow Vice President Biden
they
to
can't
respond.
answer no questions.
Said I oppose fracking.
You said it on tape.
I did. Show the tape. Put it on your website.
I'll put it
He's
on.
getting
Put it on the
angry.
website.
He's getting
the fact
angry.
Of the matter
He's
is,
getting
it's
angry.
flat lying.
Would you
Flat-
rule out banning fracking?
I do rule out banning fracking because the answer we need other industries to transition to get to
Biden looks
ultimately
so bad
a
right
complete
now.
zero emissions by 2025. What I will do with fracking over time is make sure that we can capture the emissions from the fracking, capture the emissions from gas. We can do that, and we can do that by investing money and doing it. But it's a transition to that.
I have one more question in this pod, and then
Excuse me,
we have.
he was against fracking. He said it. I will show that to you tomorrow. I am against fracking. Until he got the nomination, went to Pennsylvania, then he said, but you know what, Pennsylvania? He'll be against it very soon because his party is totally against it.
Fracking on federal land, I said. No fracking
You said
and/or oil
fracking. I
on
didn't say
federal
fracking.
Let
land.
me ask this
I
final
did.
question in this section, and then I want to move on to our final section. President Trump, people of color are much more likely to live near oil refineries and chemical plants. In Texas, there are families who worry the plants near them are making them sick. Your administration has rolled back regulations on these kinds of facilities. Why should these families give you another 4 years in office?
The families that we're talking about are employed heavily, and they're making a lot of money, more money than they've ever made. If you look at the kind of numbers that we produce for Hispanic, for Black, for Asian, it's 9 times greater, the percentage gain, than it was in 3 years, than it was under 8 years of the 2 of them, to put it nicely.
Yep.
9 times more. Now, somebody lives, I have not heard the numbers or the statistics that you're saying, but they're making a tremendous amount of money economically. We saved it, and I saved it again a number of months ago when oil was crashing because of the pandemic. We saved it. We got, say what you want about relationship, we got Saudi Arabia, Mexico, and Russia to cut back, way back. We saved our oil industry, and now it's very vibrant again.
All
And
right.
everybody has very inexpensive gasoline. Remember
Vice
that.
President Biden, your response, and then we're going to have a final question for both of you.
My response is that those people live on what they call fence lines. He doesn't understand this. They live near chemical plants that, in fact, pollute, chemical plants and oil plants and refineries that pollute. I used to live near that when I was growing up in Claymont, Delaware. And all the more oil refineries in Marcus Hook and the Delaware River than there is any place, including in Houston at the time. When my mom get in the car and when there was first frost to drive me to school, turn in the windshield wiper, there'd be oil slick in the window. That's why so many people in my state were dying and getting cancer. The fact is, those frontline communities, it doesn't matter what you're paying them, it matters how you keep them safe. What do? And you impose restrictions on the pollutions the pollutants coming out of those fence line communities.
Okay.
Uh-oh,
I have
short
one final
circuit
Would he
question.
close
It
down
falls-
the oil
It
industry?
falls.
Would you close
it
down the
falls-
oil
By the way, I
industry?
would transition from the oil industry, yes.
Oh,
I will
that's
transition.
a big statement.
It is a big statement
That's a big
because
statement.
I would stop
Why would you do that?
because the oil industry pollutes significantly.
He gonna
I
take
said,
all
here's
their
the
jobs
deal.
away.
That's a
Bye
big
bye,
statement.
Biden. You lost
Well,
the
if you let me
election,
finish
baby.
the
You
statement.
lost the election.
Because it has to
You
be
lost the
replaced by
election.
renewable
That was
energy
a dumb thing
over
to
time.
say.
Over time. And I'd stop giving to the oil industry, I'd stop giving them federal subsidies. He won't give
You
federal
lost
subsidies
the
to
election, baby. You won't
gas,
take
excuse me,
their
to
jobs.
the
Oh, my
solar
God.
and wind.
Yeah.
Why are we giving it to oil industry?
We actually do
All
give
right.
it to solar and wind.
We
And
have
that's
one
maybe the
final
biggest
question.
statement in terms of business. That's the biggest statement.
Okay.
Because
We have
basically
one
what he's
final
saying
question,
is he is
Mr.
going to
President.
destroy the oil industry. Will you remember that, Texas? Will you
Okay.
remember that,
Yes,
Pennsylvania,
Texas,
Oklahoma?
remember
Vice
that.
President Biden, let me
Remember
give you
that,
10 seconds to
Texas.
respond, and then I
Ohio.
have to get to the final question. Vice President Biden.
It takes everything out of context, but the point is
No, he
that
didn't. You just
we
said
have to
it. You
move
just
toward
said it.
a net zero emissions. The first place to do that by the year
You are
2035 is
done.
in energy production
You are
by 2050 total.
All right. One
Is he gonna
final
get
question
China
to
to
both
do
of
it?
you. No, we're finished with
Is
this.
he
We
going
have
to
to
get
move on
China
to
to
our
do it?
final question. We
No,
have to
I'm
move
going
on
to
to our final
rejoin Paris
question.
Accord and make China abide by what they agreed to.
All right,
That'll
this
cost you
is
$1
about
trillion.
leadership, gentlemen. And this first question does go to you, President Trump. Imagine this is your inauguration day. What will you say in your address to Americans who did not vote for you? You'll each have 1 minute, starting with you, Mr.
We have to make our country totally successful as it was prior to the plague coming in from China. Now we're rebuilding it, and we're doing record numbers, 11.4 million jobs in a short period of time, et cetera. But I will tell you, go back. Before the plague came in, just before, I was getting calls from people that were not normally people that would call me. They wanted to get together. We had the best Black unemployment numbers in the history of our country. Hispanic, women, Asian, people with diplomas, with no diplomas, MIT graduates, #1 in the class. Everybody had the best numbers. And you know what? The other side wanted to get together. They wanted to unify. Success is going to bring us together. We are on the road to success. But I'm cutting taxes, and he wants to raise everybody's taxes, and he wants to put new regulations on everything. He will kill it. If he gets in, you will have a depression, the likes of which you've never seen. Your 401ks will go to hell, and it'll be a very, very sad day for this country.
All right.
Flawless
Vice President
victory.
Biden, same question to you. What will you say during your inaugural address to Americans who did not vote for you?
I will say, I'm an American president. I represent all of you, whether you voted for me or against me. And I'm going to make sure that you're represented. I'm going to give you hope. We're going to move. We're going to choose science over fiction. We're going to choose hope over fear. We're going to choose to move forward because we have enormous opportunities to make things better. We can grow this economy. We can deal with the systemic racism. At the same time, we can make sure that our economy is being run and moved and motivated by clean energy, creating millions of new jobs. And that's the fact. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to say, as I said at the beginning, what is on the ballot here is the character of this country. Decency, honor, respect, treating people with dignity.
And you
making
have
sure
none
that
of that,
everyone has
Joe.
an even chance. And I'm going to make sure you get that. You haven't been getting it the last 4 years.
All right. I want to thank you both for a very robust hour and a half, a fantastic debate. Really appreciate it. President Trump, former Vice President Joe Biden, thank you to Belmont University for hosting us tonight. And most importantly, thank you to those watching tonight. Election Day is November 3rd. Don't forget to vote. Thank you, everyone, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Flawless victory.
Oh my God, I got so, hold on. Queen, the queen is on. Girl, sashay, girl. Take that mask off so we can see that beautiful face. Look at that, Lord, that ugly dress and the ugly mask to go with the ugly dress. How you gonna kiss your wife through a mask, Joe? Look at that dress, girl. I want to see Melania's face. That dress look like it's a hand-me-down. Girl, you better take that back to Walmart. Get your money back, girlfriend. That's so ugly. That's so ugly. It's ugly. Woo wee. All right. Oh my God, I got so much to say on this one. Trump did so much better. Hold on, let me put this on mute. This heifer, she was so on Trump. She was so on Biden's team. She was so on Biden's team. She basically interrupted Trump. They cut off his mic. She let Biden go over so much. And hello, Mom, Mark's mom. She let Biden just go uninterrupted. I mean, it was. Hold on, let me rewind this back to the part. Hold on a second, guys. Hold on a second. See if I can get this back. I want to pause it. I hated her, and Trump's like complimenting her, saying, "You're doing a very good job." She did a sucky job. Once again, it was two against. Once again, it was 2 against 1 again. So let me, because I took some notes, right? I took some notes. When Trump said, "Who built the cages?" and he went silent, which was a good thing. She immediately skipped the subject. She wouldn't let Crowder's fact checking. Okay, we're gonna check him out. She wouldn't let him answer the question because he knew it was gonna be in trouble. So every time Trump would ask Biden a gotcha question that would basically expose him, she would save him by basically getting into another question. She kept cutting Trump off. kept cutting Trump off. When it came to Biden, she never cut him off. She let him go and freely talk all he wanted to. But then another thing she did was she would challenge Trump with questions as if she's debating him. So like when Trump would say something, she would say, well, what about, like, what was it? What was it? One of the things that she came back and she did it 3 times. I saw her do it 3 times. What is this, Nestor? She did it 3 times to where Trump would say something and then she would come back with a rebuttal to something he said. So, you know, they muted Trump's mic twice. They muted Trump's mic twice and just let Biden talk well over 2 minutes. Well over 2 minutes, okay? She let him talk for a long time. Also, she would give softball follow-up questions to Joe Biden. Joe was starting, first of all, Joe was short-circuiting in his head because he called the Proud Boys the poor boys. She called the Proud Boys the po' boys. And then he said, what did he say? Climate burning or... Guys, what was the other thing he said about climate change? What did he say? Hold on, somebody's gonna say it. Climate warming. Yeah, there you go. Climate warming. So he was a mush mouth today, dude. He was just a bubba, and then he got mad. He started yelling at the president, so he's losing his cool. So he doesn't have a good temper. I got so mad that they wouldn't stick on the emails and the money. And also, Joe Biden did a lot of lying. He did a lot of lying. When he said he did not get no money from that, of course you did. You just got it from your son. Okay? Yeah, he called Trump Abraham Lincoln and Trump did something good. Trump said, what are you talking about? I never referred to myself as Abraham Lincoln. He says when it came to black people, he's like, Abraham Lincoln did a little bit more than I did. I never called myself Abraham Lincoln, which basically showed the lack of cognitive awareness that Biden doesn't have. You know what I'm saying? So the thing about it is that, it was something, and another thing is that the girl kept oh, that's what it was. The second one was who built the cages. Oh my God. You saw that Biden was quiet on purpose because he knew that the moderator was going to save him. He knew he didn't have to answer that question. He knew he had to ask that question, but the thing about it is the question is out there. And Joe looked really, really weak today. The thing about it is that with the fact that they kept cutting off his mic and they would not, she kept interrupting him too. Like when Trump would have a rebuttal, right? She kept talking over his rebuttal. So the thing, but when Biden had a rebuttal, she never touched him. I personally hope that the United States, that the American people see what a weak man Joe Biden is. Absolutely weak. When you have to be coddled by moderators, when you have to have basically have people say, hey, let's help out Joe Biden. Let's do this. Let's do that. Blah, blah, blah. The thing about it is that I am. Oh, hold on. Nestor, post that link again so we can see what Trump said on his Twitter. Because you just posted a link and you know me, I don't click on links unless you tell me what it's for. But post the link again and I'll okay, there we go. Hold on, let's go look. Bow, 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 bow. So copy link address. Okay. The thing about it is that this was really bad. Okay, so let's look what happened.
There be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated and no more subsidies for either one of those. I guarantee we're going to end fossil fuel. No new fracking.
I'd gradually move away from fracking.
And I think it's critically important on day one that we end any fossil fuel leases on public lands.
Well, like, what about, say, stopping fracking and stopping pipeline infrastructure
They want to do the same thing I want to do. They want to phase out fossil fuels, and we're going to phase out fossil fuels.
There's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. Would there be any...
It's a wrap, guys. It's a wrap. Biden is done. Biden is done because now he has threatened the jobs of the Rust Belt. And then he also said he's going to get rid of the oil company. Do you know how you can't have oil without Texas? You can't have Texas without oil? Are you serious? So now you have basically alienated several hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people in two parts of the region of the United States, Texas and the Rust Belt. And you're going to sit up here and tell them, well, we're going to get rid of fracking and we're going to get rid of the oil company. Dude, and you're pissing off rich black people when they realize you want to tax them 60%. Dude, you are done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Biden is done. Trump looks so much better now. He looks like he's been ganged up on. They cut off his mic twice. They kept interrupting him. They would not allow Biden to answer those questions, especially when Trump said, who built the cages? I got a question. Who built the cages? And then that heifer get in there and immediately stop him from answering the questions about who built the cages. So she goes on from there to COVID or no, what was it? She went off of that question and went on to something else. But either way, the thing about it is that, oh my gosh, dude, she was so terrible. She wasn't as bad as what was the first one with the glasses? Y'all know me and names. Who was the first moderator? Chris Wallace. She wasn't as bad as Chris Wallace. Chris Wallace was just horrid. Chris Wallace was just horrible. He was atrocious. Okay? It was just an abomination. That's just, his moderation was just an abomination. Okay, blasphemy. And the thing about it is that when you look at how I think because she's a woman, Trump was able to talk over her, you know what I'm saying? And she wasn't that confrontational, but she was still a bad moderator. I don't know why Trump trying to butter her up. Must be the black thing, you know, always got to be nice to the black people. The thing about it is that she was terrible. She kept interrupting him. She played favoritism. It was just really it was just looking so bad for Biden. And Biden kept short-circuiting throughout the entire debate. Like that medication was wearing off, baby. That medication was wearing off. I think she's black and Indian. I think. But if y'all know the rules. Y'all know the rules, right? If you are, now y'all can fact check me, okay? But listen, y'all know the rules. If you are half black, half white, you're black. If you're half Asian, half black, you're black. If you're half white, half black, you're black. If you're half Puerto Rican and black, you're black. I don't know why y'all don't know the rules. Half-breeds are never anything but black. Let me say that again. Half-breeds are nothing but black. So stop acting new as if this chick is not black. Okay? They always put them in the black category. Obama mammy is white, his pappy is African. And guess what they call him? The first black president. Anywho, so the thing about it is that we have to see how people are going to spin this, because Joe Biden looked really, really, really bad. He looked really, really bad. And I think but you know right now, you know what's going to happen right now, y'all, right? What do y'all think they're going to do to try to make, what is the number one thing they're going to say against Trump? And by the way, I laughed my ass off when he said it. What is the number one thing they're going to say about Trump from this debate? Trump can't help himself, dude. He can't help himself. Why would you say that? Why would you say the low IQ? I'm sorry to say this. I regret saying this. Don't say it, Trump. Don't say it. But there, many of them were low IQ. No. Like, why would you do that, Trump? No. Dude, don't give him the ammunition to shoot you with. Let me tell y'all something. That right there tickled me. I couldn't help but laugh. I was like, no, Trump, no. Oh, no, he said it. You know, sometimes you have to keep those type of words to yourself. Now, I could say it all I want, okay, because I'm a black woman. I call black people, Asian people, I've called everybody all kinds of names, you know what I'm saying? I can do that. I have that lap of luxury, but I'm not the president, okay? I am not in politics. I don't have to be politically correct because I'm not in politics. But boy, oh boy. Oh, let me see if it's trending. Let me see if low IQ is trending. Hold on a second. Hunter Biden's position. Oh, let me show y'all what's trending. Hunter Biden's position with a Ukrainian energy company did not affect the U.S. policy, according to the GOP-led report. Joe Biden has amassed a ridiculous amount of fundraising money. So what? 2 whistleblowers fired in Texas attorney. Okay, hold on a second. Let's see what's trending, y'all. How do you do the trending thing? Oh, you got to hit. Oh my gosh, guys, they changed Twitter so much. How do I find what's trending besides what's on the right hand side of the Twitter? I'm expecting low IQ to start trending anytime now. I'm just expecting it to trend. Explore. Oh, okay, explore. Yep, there you go. Central Park 5 is trending. Bernie is trending. Russia is trending. Yeah, and Biden kept calling Kim Jong-un a freaking thug. He couldn't even remember his name. And if Trump wasn't picking up on it, Trump should have said, what's the thug's name, Joe? What's his name? Just to show how bad that, Joe Biden doesn't remember anything. The thing about it is he kept referring to Kim Jong-un as a thug. You know, that thug in North Korea, And my thing was, I would have been like, what's his name? What's his name, Joe? What's his name? What's his name? What's his name, Joe? But Trump didn't pick up on it. I guess he was sticking to a script, so. Well, maybe they forgot about it. Low IQ is number 20? I skipped it? Huh? Oh, you know what? Let me go to U.S. elections because it's. Oh, let me go to trending. I'm sorry, guys. I forgot I forgot they do this. Yeah. I'm on it now. Okay. China. Poor boys. That dumb calling the poor boys. North Korea, Central Park did Biden and Perry Mason mute. Yep, they muted Trump twice. Bernie, least racist. Moderator. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's pretty good though. That's pretty good. If it's the last thing trending, then it's not gonna be a big deal. But hold on, I want to look at the poor boys. Hold on a second. Hold on. This fool said the poor boys. Oh God. Look at this. Whether he called the Proud Boys, the Poor Boys, accidentally or on purpose, he was right. No, he wasn't, heifer. What is this? Proud Boys, Poor Boys, Broke Boys. Look at this is Black Twitter. Oh Lord. What's up, Miss Kyle Kalinsky? What's up, Miss Kyle Kalinsky? Biden called the Proud Boys the Poor Boys. Okay, I don't get that joke. People embrace rebranding the Proud Boys the poor boys. Was Corn Pop a member of the Poor Boys? Oh yeah, the Poor Boys is a sandwich. I forgot about that. What kind of meat is this? Is this chicken? Hey, what meat is that? Is that fried chicken? That's fish. Shrimp. So what's a poor boy sandwich? It's called Po' Boys. It's from New Orleans. That looks very fattening. Fried shrimp po' boys. Oh, let's. That look delicious to you guys? That doesn't look delicious to me. Looks very fattening. What's this other meat? What's this other meat right here? That's pickles, and I see. Oh, that's still the shrimp. Meh. Oh Lord, Joe Biden is debating Abraham Lincoln now, and the poor boys. Tim Pool is getting on my nerves with, oh my God, they have just dropped the third, they just dropped the charge against Chauvin. So here come the Civil War. I don't know why. Yeah, I don't. You know what's going to happen to Tim Pool? I'm going to call it right now. When all of this is over, there's no Civil War. There is no fighting. The police have been now weaponized to the point they're on steroids. People are going to stop coming to this boy because he's been crying wolf so many times. I don't know why people keep listening to him. His numbers are going to go down. Okay, he's going to be irrelevant because people are going to get tired of hearing the sky is falling, Civil War, the sky is falling, race war. People are not falling for this. I know I'm not. I don't know why people. I was looking at this. I was like, because whenever I want to see what's going on, I just look at his. Titles. I couldn't get past 1 minute of his new video where he's talking about Chauvin before he was like, "Oh my gosh, now we're gonna have a civil war." What's the consequences and repercussions for Tim Pool when there isn't a civil war? That's what I want to know. Joe Biden took 4 days and then said, poor boys. The Proud Boys are now going to be enjoyed calling the poor boys. Oh my God, this is so great. Okay, hello. Let's go into let's go back. Oh my goodness. All right, so let's refresh. Oh, they're refreshing on its own. Okay, never mind. I don't have to refresh. All right, so yeah, I did not. Coyotes is number 6. China. Abe Lincoln, Obamacare, poor boys. Yeah, I think they forgot about the low IQ part. Look, it's still at the bottom. It's still at the bottom. I guess they're too busy hooked on the other stuff that they were saying. So Trump may have gotten away with this one. Trump may have gotten away with that. But hold on, you said Steven Crowder is fact checking. Yeah, Joe Biden told a lot of lies, guys. He told a lot of lies. I mean, a lot of lies. Let's see, Steven Crowder. Okay. And you know what? It's amazing. They want to sit up here and fact check Trump, but yeah, and still they sit up here and let Joe Biden tell all these lies. Oh well, I guess it's gone. I guess it's gone. Let's see. Fact checking the debate. Oh, we're not gonna listen to no CNN. Let's see. What was that in the hour? Let's see, in the last hour. Okay, there is none. So there's no fact checking on there. So, okay. Let's see what Trump's saying. Okay, it's a pinned tweet. What is this? Oh, thanks for watching. Okay. All right. So, yeah, this was pretty good. I'm going to just, I'll talk to the chat for a couple of minutes and then we'll have some stuff going on here. Oh, we gotta, let's see, I'll take care of them. Okay, there we go. Sorry, guys, I wasn't paying attention. I'm paying attention now. I'm paying attention now. I'm paying attention now. Argentina supports Trump is trending over here. Cool. Cool. I don't think the mods are here. I don't think I'm the only one, because we normally don't have a problem on debate night. You know what I'm saying? We don't normally have people come in here and act up, but I mean, it's I can take care of them if they do come up in here. It's not a problem. He's not just easy to get rid of. See? Well, listen, if you guys see trolls, and there's no moderator here, then highlight my name and let me know that they're in here. Now, I mean, if it's harmless trolls, that's fine. But if they're spamming, they got to go, and we'll get rid of them. But you all should just highlight my name and say, hey, blah, blah, blah is a troll. Or just say, or just highlight my name and say, hey, trolling's in the chat. And then I'll handle it. But I'm not really looking at the chat half the time. Actually, more than half the time. So, there you have it. Reverend talking about so a lot of y'all are trolls though. But anyway, so the only reason I'm looking at y'all now, I'm paying attention to you guys now. So that's why I'm seeing everybody. All right. So yeah, guys, that was pretty good. I'm actually proud of Trump. He did way better in this one. Biden can hang it up. Texas is gone. The Rust Belt is gone. Dude, 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. 4 more years. Now, the thing about it is that the word has to get out to the people in Texas, because I don't think a lot of people in Texas were watching the debate. So they have to get the word out that Biden want to get rid of the oil companies. So there you have it. So get rid of the oil companies. You're getting rid of a lot of jobs. So, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to turn us into a communist state, dude. So the majority of people in Texas are not watching it. Y'all are like unicorns in a way. So there you go. People need to snitch on Biden to Texas. Yup, that's right, Skitty. Yup. We need to tell them. Need to tell on them. Tell everybody. And not only that though, but this is, oh God, Biden lied so much. He really did. He told a lot of lies, dude. He told a lot of lies. I don't think I can keep up with all the lies he told. I mean, a gazillion lies. So, I'm gonna end it at 11:10, guys. And then, but I want to thank everybody for you. I want to thank all of you guys for coming. I am Tree of Logic for those of you who are new to the channel. Good night, Cottage Pie. I host a news channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So tomorrow I will be doing my thing here on this channel. Please feel free to subscribe. Also, hey, can we get the likes up on this video? Can y'all holler at a sister? And I'm going to leave the video up. Well, how about this? I'll leave the video up if I get to 150 likes. Right now I'm at what? 134. So, and it's 300 and some, it's 350 something of y'all in here. Or maybe come on now. You see 225? Oh, damn. I'm sorry. Maybe it's just me. Hold on. Let me refresh. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Okay, let's get into 250. Let's get into 2. My bad. I need to get into 250. We at 246. We at 246. I need some at 248, 248, 248, 248. There we go. There we go. Almost there. Almost there. 249, 249. Oh, who's going to be the number one to get to the 250? 251. Yay! 252. Thank you. The video stays up. I want to thank, I see some of you guys have joined my membership site. I joined a membership section of YouTube. Thank you so much. And I hope you enjoy your Shaquita emoji. Hope you enjoy it. And feel free to come here tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. tomorrow at here on this channel. I'll be doing the news. And yeah, we're gonna have a good old time. So with that being that being done, guys, this was a good one. I'm pretty, like I said, in conclusion, I'm very proud of Trump. Oh, thank you so much, Tyson, for the $5 donation. I'm very proud of Trump. He did a very, very good job. Outstanding job. It's a wrap for Biden. And yeah, dude, we're going to talk about this some more tomorrow. But in the meantime, you all enjoy your night. It's 11:10 over here. So I am going to fix me a protein shake, and then I am going to bed. So love you all. Thank you for coming over to my channel to support me. I really, really appreciate that. Everybody who's joined my channel as a member, thank you so much for your financial support. In addition to those of you who made donations via Super Chat. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that. So without further ado, you all take care, and I'll see you tomorrow at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. Later, taters.